Hello, everyone.
Hi.
It's been a while.
Well, for us, not for them.
Yeah. Well, they weren't supposed to know that. But hi, I'm Rory. Wait, sorry, I forgot how this works.
You want to tell them who you are?
No. It goes you first, and then,
right,
and
it
then
does.
me.
Oh, it's Rory.
And this is Roni? Question mark?
Yeah,
Exclamation
maybe.
point. We'll figure it out as we go along. But hello, welcome back to.
Have and have not.
The thing where we talk about things that we have read versus what people have not read. And today is an enigma. It's a very special episode because why, Rory?
Well, today is a very special episode because we both have actually read this book.
Yes, we have. And who has not read this book?
Well, that would be my brother Noah. Say hi, Noah.
Hi.
You might be noticing, oh my gosh, guys, the quality has improved significantly in just that one microphone, and that is correct. We have only updated one piece of equipment. But it's okay.
We're getting there. I'm sorry. We're poor and in our 20s. We're trying.
We're surviving and thriving.
Yeah. We're just people who really like books.
I like books.
Yeah, so Noah.
Thanks, Noah.
Noah's here today because me and Roni have been on this Sarah J. Maas journey. And he has not read anything by her. And so we were like, oh, dude, you gotta read ACOTAR. So I'm on my Throne of Glass journey with Roni, but Noah needed to experience ACOTAR for himself.
Yes, he did.
So he's read the first book. But before we get to Noah doing our special episode and explaining the plot of ACOTAR to us, me and Roni have to share what we're drinking.
Alcohol.
So our themed drink for today, because we're starting to actually get creative again, is called a Spring Court Spritzer. Do you know what's in it, Roni? You watched me make it? Do you know?
No, I was finagling.
You were finagling.
I was finagling stuff.
It is Moscato with ice and a really fancy Italian blood orange soda. It's delicious. I like it.
Like it.
ASMR.
I have beer. It's Belgian.
So in true, actually, ACOTAR fashion, it kind of fits.
It kind of goes in right with it because of all the fairy tale interventions.
Yeah,
so
Noah's the human realm, and where people are disgusting and drink beer, and we're the pretentious ones in the fairy realm, right?
Amazing.
We've gone over the wall. And it's red, of course, because of,
blood.
all the... blood, because all the people she kills. The wolf she brutally murders. Yeah.
Wolf had it coming.
all right.
Good to know, Noah.
As Noah said, and as we said, we're going to be getting into this. So essentially, we're going to be like that because it's not a have and have not in the traditional sense. Noah's going to go plot by plot point, and we're all just going to chat about our thoughts and feelings and our. Well, Rory and I have read the whole ACOTAR series, so Noah's going to talk about his predictions.
Yeah, we're very interested to hear what he thinks is going to happen.
Because, oh boy, is it a doozy.
Well, I think some of it was probably spoiled for him a little bit, but I don't...
He's nodding.
He's like, yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of unavoidable at this point, but he doesn't know
all
that
over
much.
The fucking place. I'm trying to get my friends to read Crescent City, and the problem is SJM and Crescent City were so big because of the last line in the second Crescent City book. I'm not gonna tell you, bitch. You gotta read it for yourself. But
okay,
my friend Yamile, she was like, oh, I'm being so good. I'm not finding out anything. Then literally she's scrolling on TikTok one day and people are so mean with their spoiler warnings, as in they don't even have them anymore. They just have the line.
You
and
just
she was
see
like,
shit.
She's like, I promise I really tried to be good. I really tried. Every time I heard Crescent City, boom, she scrolled. But that's all I done.
Well, that's why I was so happy when me and Roni worked at summer camp together.
Oh, yeah.
And I was so happy when we were at summer camp, not in general, but when I had to read the book, because Roni recommended this book series to me when we were literally isolated in Pennsylvania the year after COVID. So I knew fucking jack shit about these books. I didn't know any of the characters. I didn't know any of the spoilers. I barely even knew who Sarah J. Maas was.
A queen.
Yeah, I literally had only ever heard of the first book. I had no idea what the fuck it was about. So I was lucky. I wish we would have recorded our thoughts back then. But we have Noah now.
Now we have Noah.
Yeah,
my Adonis.
Yes, you're Ronnie's Adonis. We've made that very clear in our friendship that Noah is
Rory's my lover and Noah's my Adonis. And then Lou is the piece of crud on the bottom of my shoe that just sticks around, and I don't like it.
Lou's my other brother.
There's a backstory behind these nicknames. I don't know if they told you that.
No, we didn't.
I think we're leaving
it.
Yeah, we're leaving it kind of enigmatic. So without
like
further ado, let's get started.
Off we go.
Yeah.
Chapter 1.
Let's go, Noah. Noah has a plot synopsis basically on his phone in case he needs to refer back to it, because who the fuck remembers everything that happens in a Sarah J. Maas book?
Not me.
Certainly not me.
I say that facetiously.
I mean that so seriously.
I've been listening to Carrie Can recap it every chance I get, so I'm pretty close to knowing the whole plot.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I've watched her synopsis on the first book a couple times. I still don't fucking remember.
There's so many things.
There's so many things that happen.
All right, Noah.
Okay, so
Chapter
I read this book a while ago. So like they said, I don't remember everything perfectly. So I do have a plot synopsis to sort of help me keep track of some of the events that happened and refresh my memory. Okay, so as I sort of recall it to the best of my ability, Feyre, that's our main character.
Sorry, but that's like the dumbest fucking name ever. Let's just start from there. Like, I hate to be a hater, but like Feyre in a story about fucking fairies, dude. Like
Feyre in Fairyland, baby.
I thought it was like a Norse thing, like
come on.
Freya.
I don't think that's what was happening there, personally.
No,
I don't get that vibe at all. I think that's a coincidence.
I wonder if it was supposed to be Freya, and then she looked back. She's like, "That's not how you spell Freya." So let's just go with it.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, she's our main character. She used to come from a really rich family. Things went south for them. Now they're poor.
Now they're poor.
No, they're dying.
It kind of seems like she's the only one in her family who realizes that. The others are... The one sister, I think it's Nestra, is like kind of sucks.
Nesta.
She kind of
Nesta.
sucks.
She comes back later, Noah. You should remember her.
Okay, she kind of sucks.
She does come back.
She's mean.
Shut the fuck up, Ronnie. Stop.
Context.
Don't even. I don't even want to talk about it. Go ahead.
There's the other sister who's forgettable.
The boring one.
Elaine.
Elaine, yeah. She's like nice, but also dumb, so she doesn't realize they're poor. So she like paints, which is cute, but it's expensive, and they need food.
It's actually Feyre who paints.
Okay.
Elaine just looks at the flowers.
Okay.
Elaine has literally no personality.
Her
She's
personality is garden.
Yeah, it's guarded.
And Feyre, and I'm just thinking,
and pretty, but not too pretty.
I'm just thinking, like, if she has such a passion for the garden, why not like grow potatoes or something like actually useful?
I know, that really doesn't make any fucking
She's
sense.
just like, I'm gonna plant a tulip.
You'd think like giving a character a hobby that is actually resourceful and making her still the most useless fucking person in the family is kind of remarkable. Like, that is a feat.
There was a lot of not thinking.
Yeah, that's really dumb. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, why the fuck isn't she planting potatoes?
That's a solid point. Moving on.
I mean, the carrots you grow can be like artisanal. Like, you can get purple carrots and you just burp.
Yes.
Man, we're only a few minutes in and we're already like slobbering all over the place. Okay, go ahead, keep going.
So moving on. So like Feyre's the only one who bothers to try to support her family. Her dad's there too. He's just kind of there. That's about it.
He's a bum.
That's about it. So she hunts. They eat the meat, sell the pelts.
Yes.
And
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
She has like.
And where's her mom?
Dead.
Dead.
Because
fucking
obviously.
Dead parents.
Dead parents.
She died.
Check.
She died of get the bitch out of the plot-itis.
She died of the bitchitis disease.
Yeah.
So either way, moving past that. So like she kind of has this like friends with benefit in town. That doesn't really go anywhere.
Oh yeah.
It's just basically to establish that she's not a virgin. So when she inevitably has sex with fairies later, it makes sense why it's good.
Yeah, she's not like stumbling.
You know what I'm saying? Because if like she'd gone into this a virgin, it would have been like we would have had to have a weird, awkward losing virginity scene.
Oh my gosh, my first dick is a big fairy dick.
Yeah, that would be too much. You wouldn't be able to handle it.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
Ew! Why would you even do that?
Okay,
Ronnie!
moving past Ronnie, whatever that was.
Oh no.
So yeah, she meets a mercenary in town. they have a weird conversation, says the mercenary.
Oh,
lady.
no. You skipped over the first chapter.
Oh,
The first chapter is when they just had their last loaf of bread, or they had their last meal. So she goes out further into the forest because it's winter and everything's dead. So all of the animals are closer to the wall.
that happens first.
The mythical fairy wall.
Yeah, we have to explain the world here a little bit.
Okay, to my understanding, that like humans and fairies are divided. There's like this big wall that I think is like half physical, half magic. That was
my impression of it too.
Separates their realms. Like they live pretty separately. I think there's there's occasionally like incursions by the Fae just to like fuck with humanity, but like
which is why you stay away from the wall, which is why Feyre is not staying away from the wall because she needs to hunt.
Yeah, I think it's like better game because people aren't willing to risk it. She's hunting. She's tracking a deer. She finds like this really nasty big wolf has gotten to it first. I think she kind of like figures it's probably a Fae and therefore a thinking being, but either like.
But then she decides,
I'm gonna kill it anyway.
Fuck it, I don't care.
Like, yeah, it's kind of half rationalization that it probably won't be, half I don't care if it is.
Yeah.
She kind of nails it in the eye with her bow.
She does. And then she's like, well, if it was a fairy, then it would have turned into like a fairy body, and it doesn't. And she's like, oh.
Lucky me.
Yeah, again, like
not a fairy.
Some more and more rationalization. She tries to sell the pelt.
If you need synopsis, use the synopsis.
Because she skins it, and then she realizes, oh shit, I can't carry all this deer meat and the wolf. So she skins the wolf and takes the pelt home.
Which seems a little bit
wasteful
and also fucking unrealistic. You skinned a whole ass wolf out in the snow. After being out in the snow for hours, her hands are probably fucking freezing.
She's pretty. She doesn't think.
Yeah, but blood is hot. Field dressing is a thing.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Don't question.
That just seemed like a lot. That like she did very quickly.
Don't question how I know these things, viewers.
He just knows things, okay? He's built different. That's why he's my Adonis.
This is so weird already. Okay, keep going.
Nothing really important happens after that. The point is, important thing that happens is later that night, another really big wolf fairy shows up and is all angry because she killed his friend or whatever.
Yeah, and then sold his hide to a random woman in the market.
Yeah, she's like, oh shit.
Oh,
maybe I shouldn't have done that.
So, he tells her that, an alternative to killing her and her whole family, she can like come with him and live with him in fairy, like a whole life for a life thing.
Yes.
Which doesn't sound right from the get-go.
But it is.
It does. It sounds incredibly suspicious.
It sounds a bit too convenient.
Yeah.
You killed my friend, so I get to take you conveniently.
Here's the thing, right? Like that I have to say about that is I almost feel bad for hating the first book so much, especially upon first read, but at the same time I don't because I know where it goes and I still have problems. But if you read this first book and never read the rest of the books, or like never got through it, because I nearly almost didn't get through the first book.
Like, grow the fuck up, bitch.
Yeah,
you
like
can handle it. Because you're stronger than that.
I almost didn't get through the first book. Like upon first glance, I could see why even in the first chapter somebody would just literally say fuck this book, because if you didn't know that like whole deal was actually a fucking front, you know, like spoiler alert, we're getting there, but like that's not the whole truth is what they're saying. It's like you would just be like, this is fucking stupid. Like you would just think it's bad writing. You know what I'm saying?
It is bad writing.
Like you would just literally be like, what? Like it's just too much. It's so stupid. It's so clearly Beauty and the Beast. And I'm so fucking sick of Beauty and the Beast retellings, dude. Like, it's never been it for me.
I'm gonna try to find the description of Tamlin, because I really think you need to understand what Tamlin was described as looking like, because it was bad.
Hot with a big dick?
Well, yes.
I mean, in #beast mode.
In beast mode. Okay. Well, while you're doing that, Noah can keep going. So keep going.
Okay, so he makes this incredibly suspicious sounding deal. Yeah, the guy's name, his name is Tamlin.
Tampon.
So it shows up in the Prythian?
Yes, it's Prythian.
Which is like the magical Fae realm. And I'd live with him there. He takes him back to his big house in Prithian.
No, go ahead.
Well, yeah, so they're like going across the wall,
And she's like, oh my gosh, I'll just wait until he's looking away and then I'll start to run.
which is so stupid because this guy, I found the description. He is described as a creature with a bear-like body, a lupine head, massive antlers, lion-like mane, long yellow fangs, and the fluidity of a cat.
I literally don't know how somebody could look at something with that description and take it seriously. I would just laugh my ass off.
But like, imagine it busting down your door, and then she's like, I'm just gonna run away from it, and then he goes
Yeah, and this bitch is a hunter. What are you fucking talking about?
no, because he goes fairy magic, and then she wakes up and it's spring, and she's like, how long was I asleep? It is now spring. It was winter.
These, I mean,
God,
sort of
Feyre.
skipping ahead, but these are our romantic leads, and that is a very uncomfortable foot to start off on.
It's unsettling.
Well, I'm just saying, like, the one thing she now knows about him is that she knows two things about him. He kidnapped her and under threat of violence towards her family, and he can magically roofie her at any time.
The two things that are the scariest.
Yeah, that is in fact accurate. One thing I noticed about Feyre immediately when I first read this book, and maybe you agree or not, Noah, but she is the fucking dumbest character.
She's fucking dumb.
She is dumber than Harry Potter. Like, she is so fucking stupid.
At least in Harry Potter, we had the third person omniscient narrator, but this is like all from her perspective. So we only see the world through her eyes, and she's a dumbass, so we don't know jack shit about this place.
It's infuriating. She'll look at something and be like, "It looks like a apparatus with which you walk through," and you're like, "A fucking door, Feyre? You mean a door?"
No, an apparatus with which you walk through. And
She's like, it's a mystery to me. And you're like, it's a door. It's so infuriating. Anyway, sorry. Keep going.
So he takes her back to his manor. I'm having the summary I have seems pretty broad stroke, so it's probably skipping a lot, and even I remember only a handful of stuff.
Yeah.
The handful of people there all are wearing weird masquerade masks.
We meet Lucian.
Love
Lucian.
He's this weird redheaded guy.
The ultimate third wheel.
Yeah, I actually thought he was a contender for the love interest.
Yeah, you told me, and I was like, huh.
Yeah, I really thought he was a contender for the love interest in this book, because I fucking hated Tamlin the second I met him.
I mean, honestly, that would have been more interesting than what happens, but we're gonna move past that.
Too bad.
Like she sent her a room. It's big, all gets all gussied up or whatever. I think she's offered the chance to gussy up, but says no because reasons. She's angry to be there. She's not like, I'm not taking your stuff. They go to dinner, and she kind of starts learning a bit more about how the Prithian works and how the Fae work.
Yeah.
So there's apparently a lot of misinformation among humanity about how the Fae actually work.
Just a way back.
So here's the thing, not to interrupt you, but because I'm going to lose my thought if I don't, and you just mentioned her being like the brat trope, where she's like refusing to participate in Tamlin's finery. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, this isn't like a hate on Sarah J. Maas. It's like on a personal level, but it just annoys me that she probably, because of the way she like approaches her writing, and also her fans act like she's above some of the stupid shit that like beginning fantasy authors do, because she does, to her credit, craft a lot of twists that you really might not see coming or are in fact subversive, which I will give her credit for. But in this case, it's like she's literally just straight up doing that fucking trope of like, oh, I'm cloaked in finery and I'm going to be a brat about it and I don't want this. And you're just like, oh, shut the fuck up. Like,
you're good, babe.
Yeah, you're fucking fine. Oh my god, your punishment is to be kept in a castle and wear pretty clothes and be fed every day. Fucking, like, life fucking sucks. Like,
it does suck.
Like, she is not above some of these tropes, and I feel like people keep forgetting that some of the tropes she uses are not a conscious choice that she's going to later subvert. She is just straight up doing a trope. Okay, I don't know. Like,
okay, so just to sort of bring this back, this is kind of like the big meat of my issue with this book.
Which one?
I think one of the things she starts learning about is that she's kind of worried that her family might starve. She's not there to provide for them. She's like the one person who actually is feeding them at all.
Yeah.
And he confirms, no, I'm taking care of them. They'll be provided for. They won't starve without you. which again I kind of feel like immediately casts doubt on his assertion that this is meant to be penance.
Yeah.
For like
There's penance,
the
you would
death
say,
of his
screw
subject.
your family. You fucked me over, you know?
Yeah. But again, because Feyre's a fucking idiot, she doesn't, like, question any of this.
Second thing, as I said earlier, she starts learning about how the Fae actually work compared to, like, the sort of rumors humans learn. So humans believe this sort of common folklore belief that Fae are hurt by iron. That's, like, common even real life folklore. They tell her this isn't true. They're only vulnerable, I think, to ashwood, which I think is a folklore thing, but also they destroyed nearly all the ash trees in the world, so there's very little of it.
And iron doesn't do jack shit. And Tamlin's like, Lucian, stop telling her all of her secrets.
But, like, she's gonna fucking find out anyway. You expect her to, like, stay here for months and she's never gonna put any pieces together. I mean, well, it is Feyre, never mind.
It is Feyre.
It is Feyre. As I was saying it, I felt stupid saying that.
I kind of could pass that, but that's just compounded when we learn that she says that, like, she says to believe that the Fae can't lie, like, they're compelled to tell the truth, even if only half-truths. And then Lucian is hysterical, like, no, we lie all the time, that's total bullcrap.
I'm doing it right now to you.
Which I feel like my immediate follow-up question to that response should be, did you lie to me about the pretext for my coming here? I mean, like, I based that under the belief that you were telling the unvarnished truth and couldn't do otherwise.
But what's stopping him from lying then?
Because you can, in fact, lie to me.
What is stopping him from lying to that
response? Did you lie about the
though?
iron thing? I mean, like...
Yeah.
You just it feels.
Yeah, did you lie about providing for my dad and my sisters? Like,
now I doubt everything you just said.
Yeah,
Are
literally.
you actually a man?
Yeah, what even is going on here? Yeah, it's a very good point.
And, like, not beyond the plot stuff is that, in a weird way, it kind of takes the magic out of it for me.
You know, when you have dumb people, it usually does that.
Is that no? I mean, not like. I don't mean like in the metaphorical way. I mean almost in kind of a literal way. Like the Fae are less mysterious and magic and otherworldly in this way. It's
I also had a problem with that. Like the Fae come off to me as just hot people.
That's on my conceit with this issue. This is kind of like the crux of my issue with this book. This is like the core part of it. Like skipping too far ahead is that in general the Fae just come across as people but better. Like.
Because they are.
Like, there's just, like, no drawbacks to being Fae. They're just people, but in every other way better. The wood that hurts some ash doesn't even, like, do anything. It just makes wounds that heal normal.
Oh, no. Actually, no. You haven't gotten to when the ash is a real issue in the second book.
Okay, so maybe it's like mustard gas in the future, but right now it comes across as just hurts you normally.
It hurts you as much as a real arrow would hurt a regular person if they were shot in the stomach.
Yeah,
and
literally.
And there's very little
and then they
of it.
heal. Yeah, and then they still have magic healing powers too. Like I know they heal like normal people, but then they have like special medicine, you know. So it's like
that negates that. So unless it's instantly fatal, then it's like they're virtually immortal. And I'm like,
yeah.
Why didn't you just win the first time?
You know what it is too? It's like so clearly like Tolkien's elves, but like more powered. You know what I mean? Like it's so clear that the Fae are just fucking elves, but she's calling them the Fae. Like they don't even have fucking wings. Like some of them have wings, like the Bat Boys who come in the second book.
Well, the High Fae don't have.
But the
wings.
High Fae don't have wings, so they're literally basically Tolkien's elves. Except for at least Tolkien like gave his elves, you know, mortal flaws, like they could be killed by stuff. you know, like...
Okay, Tolkien's elves actually had a very dark and sordid history full of betrayal, murder, and weird sex stuff. People forget that.
Don't forget the weird
That's
sex
true,
stuff.
but I'm saying you could stab one and it would fucking die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They weren't like these overpowered, practically invincible, write yourself into a hole kind of like beings.
Well, yeah, I guess my point is like, okay, about the winning the first time thing, part of the backstory is that there was apparently some really big war a long time ago between humans and Fae that was what created the wall, so like they're living separately. We're gonna circle back to that in the future.
Yes.
So yeah,
I also
the
have
mask thing I mentioned earlier. There's some kind of weird magic. that like binds them to their faces. Like they literally just can't take them off.
They call it the blight. It's a weakening of magic for the past 50-some years, and that's all we really know about it.
Yeah, and there's like they're worried it's going to grow. I'm actually kind of unclear as to what the drawbacks are. I know the mask thing sucks, but it doesn't seem to interfere with their lifestyle all that much.
It's the more the implication behind the mask, which is a constant reminder that later it's going to be like
when the timer's up.
Literally, it is. You look in the mirror every day and you're reminded of the horrible things that I'm going to do to absolutely everyone if you don't do what I require. And we'll get back to that in a bit.
So Feyre gets all this, really kind of mind-screwy information that, like, really...
Mind-screwy.
Barely considers any of it.
Barely.
Again, also doesn't, I mean, not so much doesn't, like, consider, she's only shocked by the whole can lie and can not be killed by iron thing, which puts a damper on some of her plans, but also, like we said, doesn't really look too deep into, does that mean all the things you said before were untrue, and now I doubt everything you just said? Kind of just bums around his house for a while. He tries to offer her some things to make it more comfortable, which, again, should be seen as even more suspicious given the context of why she's supposed to be there.
You're my prisoner, but also you're free to do whatever you want. And also, can I do anything to make your stay more comfortable, ma'am?
Yeah.
I hear you like painting.
I don't recall things too clearly, but how she thinks Tamlin looks as human. Like I said, he's kind of blonde and buff and hot.
Yeah.
So
that's really all you gotta know.
Never trust a towhead, isn't that right, Ronnie?
Shut the fuck up.
One of the
that
things
is personal.
That I caught on with, this is kind of a thing I see in a lot of so these sort of like new adult romantasy books is like noticing when people are hot in times where it's really inappropriate to be thinking about how hot they are.
And my favorite part about SGM is her favorite, her love of the scents.
Oh yeah, it's a little.
Yeah, he smells good.
No. I mean, when she's all hot and bothered, he can.
Yeah, he can smell arousal like an animal. It's actually not as sexy as you think.
Nobody thinks it's sexy. It's not sexy at all. In fact,
okay.
It's very, very odd.
So just kind of circling the whole, like, again, like knows real hot what's inappropriate to think is hot. It's like she does seem to like think, understandably that he's sexy and like has buff and is like really like, sort of chiseled male fantasy a bit. And I'm just thinking,
it is a fantasy book.
Like this, I see there's a lot of books, but in my case here, but this is the one we're talking about. Is that like this man is your jailer and threatened violence against your family like not less than 24 hours ago? I feel like that should be a real turnoff. Like it's like, wow, those muscles rippled like the way the time he said he would kill my little sister if I didn't come away with him to be his slave in retaliation for a murder I committed prior.
Are those the muscular arms that would have choked me out in front of them?
Oh my fucking god! But like seriously,
like,
though,
I'm playing my blood debt to this like chiseled man beast or something. I don't know.
It's like, oh, it's so funny.
Okay, so again, I'm kind of skipping probably a lot, but he offers her painting supplies. She's kind of like all like, no, I don't want your stuff. You are literally my jailer.
Despite being nothing but incredibly understanding and nice to me the entire time.
Which is actually, again, even more suspicious when you think about it for even 10 seconds.
But we're not thinking about it for too long.
Yeah, you have to remember, you're trying to bring brains, logic, and even a modicum of, thinking to Feyre, who is just not that character. She's really, really stupid.
She's really stupid, and everyone really hates her. And, obviously, Lucian hates her. Tamlin is, walking up to her,
amused by her, actually.
No, Lucian tries to fucking get her killed.
He does, but, I mean, he at least thinks
it's
funny.
Good way?
He at least thinks it's funny. Do you know what I mean?
He's like, ha, 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 I almost killed her.
Yeah, he thinks she's like a toy.
Speaking of, so what happened in that part was, Feyre's just walking around outside. She's sulking because she wants to escape, but she can't. And then Feyre's like, no. Then Tamlin's like, hey, want to hang out with me today? And she's like, no. And he's like, oh, okay. And so he kind of shuffles off to the side. And then she's walking around. She sees Lucian, and she's like, can I join you? And he's like, yeah, sure. So
I love how dejected Tamlin gets every time she rejects him, not remembering that you fucking kidnapped her.
With his tail between his legs, literally.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I wonder why she's so pissed off.
I wonder why.
Yeah, he's kind of got that whole alpha male hero thing, and that he gets very angry at, like, very normal responses to his behavior.
Which is, I don't want to be around you because you kidnapped me.
Yeah, I'm here against my will. I did not come here voluntarily. I don't want to be around you. You have no reasonable expectation to expect me to want to be around you.
I literally hate your entire species, so much so that I killed one of you knowing full well that it probably could be one of you, and I did it anyway just because I fucking hate you guys so much. Like, you've been a blight on my entire race of person.
We fought a genocidal war against you a long time ago and still are kind of upset about it. So, moving on, by the way, the genocidal war was because the humans were slaves, and they're kind of still have beef about that.
Which, oh my god, so the implications about the slavery thing is just fucking insane to me.
Yeah.
It's so, please stop writing things about slaves, please. Please, authors, stop writing things about slaves. Like, it's just so uncomfortable in every context. Like, I don't like it. And especially when you're framing the Fae as, because it's so clear she does, right? Like, and that's okay because this is a fantasy novel, so in some ways, as a, you know, perfect piece of the demographic she's trying to cater to, I'm okay with living in the fantasy of, oh, it's so cool to be a magical being, right? Like, it's okay to indulge in that being a magical being is better than being a human. Like, we've done the whole being human is great with all the vampire stories that have come out. So I'm okay with her indulging in, like, being a fairy is awesome with all the fairy powers she's created. But at the same time, like, it's just so fucking weird to have people be slaves, have there be a genocidal war between the two sides.
Between the North and the South.
Between the North and the fucking South. And then have the oppressors be portrayed as, like, the superior, way more awesome race of people. It's just...
They're not superior, as Noah said. They're just humans, but better.
But better. It's so uncomfortable. Like,
so yeah,
that's not okay. And I almost forgot about that until you fucking brought it up. That is in fact part of the backstory. Completely glossed over it when I first read the book because I didn't even completely understand the world building. But upon second reading, and now that you're mentioning it again, I totally forgot about that. That's fucking wild.
Yeah, so, like, we're gonna kind of circle back around to that whole plot point later as it becomes more relevant.
When we get to the actual cause of the blight.
Yeah, that's a whole section of the book that honestly probably goes a little longer than it needed to, but we're gonna circle back around to that.
That's the best part of the book.
Probably.
Definitely.
So
I will fight you on that.
Either way, yeah.
So that she's out in the woods with Lucian, and they're chatting, trying to be friendly, and then all of a sudden she's like, "Shut up!"
I think they're attacked by some kind of weird.
That was a weird, uncomfortable silence.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
exactly
trying to recall what happens next.
It was the Bogue. It was like they're like these
yeah.
creatures that they can't hurt you unless you turn and acknowledge that they're there. So he's like, "Shut up!" And so then they're just like going by, and the Bogue are like, "Feyre, Feyre, look at me, Feyre."
Okay, right. Also, the blight means there's weird monsters running around.
Yes.
Some of them, by the way, as an author, I really wish she described them better because until I watched Carrie Can Read's video and she literally just put random pictures up to represent like the various things like the surreal and the bogues and stuff, I literally could not, I was so fucking confused as to what they were. I was like, I can't even picture this thing. What even is this?
I think she picked the perfect representation of the surreal, which
Oh
is
yeah,
which is that thing from
from what's the movie?
Oh my gosh.
It's like a Miyazaki film.
No, it is. It's the one where she goes to the magic world. Oh my gosh, what the fuck is it?
Somebody will comment.
It was one that Lou and I really liked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, somebody will let us know. But yeah, it was really funny. I got so confused like reading this. I was like, what even are these things? So I'm so glad Carrie put like a visual to it.
I guess long story short, I think she comes to learn about something called a surreal. Rory just mentioned it.
Yeah.
It's this kind of lower type of fae that has lots of knowledge and you can learn things from it.
Literally has all the knowledge in the universe.
Yeah, and nobody thought to, fucking do something with that.
And she's like, she turns to Lucian. She's like, hey, Lucian, is there like a fairy that exists that I can go and ask all the questions and they like can't tell me like the wrong thing and like they can't lie to me even if I wanted them to lie to me, and then they like had to tell me the truth no matter what? He's like, oh yeah, you mean the Suriel? And then he's like really ridiculously specific on how to capture it. And I'm like, you do know that she's gonna go try to capture it now. And she does.
Yeah, she tries to capture the Suriel. It's this weird spirit thing.
If it's so fucking easy to capture the thing that can literally answer every question in the entire goddamn world, why wouldn't more people just have one? Why wouldn't you just keep one? I mean, they're clearly okay with slavery. Why don't you just fucking keep one?
We're not gonna talk about slavery.
I'm saying them, not me. I am using their own logic. Like,
okay, so it kind of fills her in on more and more some back stuff about the ongoings of the world. It's like there's like another fairy kingdom called Highburn, and has a really big mean king who's the big bad evil guy.
Yes.
And I think he's the reason all the bad stuff is happening.
We're learning about the lore.
He said he sent spies into the other fairy courts.
Mm-hmm.
So we can just sort of, keep an eye out for them and learn what's going to happen.
This book series quickly, like, fucking turns into Game of Thrones and shit, like, as we get further into the series with all the political intrigue.
Yeah, he thinks humans are dumb and should be slaves again, and he's a really bad guy.
Really bad guy. Bad boy,
so before
good
Feyre
boy,
can learn too much about what the hell is going on with that, she gets conveniently attacked by some of the bad monsters roaming by the woods. And
one of my favorite parts is the Suriel's like, stay with the High Lord, Feyre. And she's like, God fuck it. He's not just like a high fae. He's the High Lord. He's like, he runs this place. Like, this is his. She was like, oh, he has a beautiful, massive estate. He must be pretty like high ranking. Like, yeah, he is the high ranking.
Yeah, like he's like in charge of this court.
He's basically king of...
He's king of the spring.
King of spring is him.
Yeah, he's the king of the spring.
What, because it rhymed? Did you just...
No.
Like, what do
No.
you... What was with the...
Goes into the Hades and Persephone next book.
Oh! I didn't even fucking notice that!
Okay, that's actually pretty clever.
That's actually really clever. I'm so sorry.
I kind of got spoiled a
That's
line
so
from the
funny.
second book that kind of makes that a little more clear. But we're gonna move past that. Look, I read a lot of fantasy, so I'm kind of in these circles a lot. So they're kind of right. I was spoiled a little bit for some of the big events that happened in the subsequent books.
Don't worry.
I'm sorry, I don't remember them quite well, so it's probably still going to be a surprise. But I have a general outline of some of the big things going forward. So yeah, he saves her.
And Lucian's like, I wasn't going to save you.
But I did.
But I got Tamlin too.
I actually fucking hate you. And I think you are a mistake and a bad idea. Which I don't get why, because when you learn the spoiler, like when you learn the twist later, Lucian has no fucking reason to think this. Like,
yeah.
I mean, like, if nothing else, it's a Hail Mary,
like,
so...
Yeah, like, what's the alternative, Lucian? Did you have a fucking better idea? Anyway, Lucian was the only one who was fucking tolerable in this court. I couldn't stand Tamlin, even from the beginning. And Roni, you can back me up on this, because literally people, like... I know everybody's going to be like, that's totally not true. You definitely didn't think that. No, I fucking hated him from the beginning. From the beginning.
Yeah. So we mentioned that Tamlin was the High Lord of the Spring, but what does that entail? I don't think we mentioned how the fairy world Prythian is distributed.
You should explain it, Roni, since I think Noah doesn't care enough.
I think the gist is that there's like different courts based on the seasons, and they all answer to a high king who's bad.
No.
No.
Very close, but no. So essentially, it was once ruled collectively, but then we don't know when or why or how, but it stopped being ruled collectively. This comes into play more in like the fourth book, Court of Silver Flames.
Yeah, it was like a bajillion years ago.
Yeah, it was 15,000 years ago. So essentially, the whole of Prythian, which is the...
Oh, okay. We gotta pause it because Noah's leaving.
Oh, 1 second.
An asshole!
No, I'm not.
Nobody
my gosh,
to hear that.
Have I ever showed you my Donald Duck impression?
Yeah, like a million times.
Podcast, have I ever showed you?
I don't even know what to say to you right now.
That's why we heard the platypus one. And we're back. Okay, so.
Thanks, Noah, for making that fucking weird.
It's
Sorry.
okay. It's fine. It's fine.
So I
It's
had a
fine.
phone call.
It's fine. We're good. So essentially, the Prythian, the lands of Prythian, 15,000 years ago, they were divided up into either the seasonal or the solar courts. Seasonal being autumn, winter, spring and summer. Yeah. And then the solar being dawn, day, and night. So we just know about that distribution. We know that Tamlin is one of the 7 of the big bads. So that makes his dedication and why he's taking the Bogue being around and like all these creatures slipping in like extra to heart. It's because it's literally because he's not strong enough to fend off and fight what he should be able to fight.
He's also like hundreds of years old, acting like he's a fucking 15-year-old boy, but it's cool.
But it's all good in the proverbial hood because we've got Feyre here who is here for whatever reason, and she keeps hearing these little things like she like overhears little conversations like Lucian's like, come on dude, like stop dragging your feet, yo, you like do something
He's
nice.
giving him a bro pep talk. He's
And then
like,
Tamlin
bro,
comes up,
this isn't good for you.
and then Tamlin comes up to her, is like, you look clothed, and she's like, what the fuck does that mean? And he's like, you look.
He like can't be nice to her no matter how much he tries.
He like it looks like he's trying to swallow a dagger when he's trying to be nice to her. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, it's like he's clearly being framed a bit like this weird male fantasy a bit, but like at the same time is not suave at all. It seems like baffled at
Instead
the
of
thought
being
of
suave,
like basic
he's Olay.
interactions.
He's Olay.
It's like, like we learned that he's like definitely been like starved for contact with other people for a while, but also had presumably many more centuries of like talking to thinking beings. And I just feel like he should be able to talk to a pretty girl with something resembling basic decency.
That's asking for too much.
And it's
enough.
We learned that this is like a lot is very dependent on his ability to get this girl to like him because this is a Beauty and the Beast. So obviously there's some kind of outside incentive. So I feel like you should be able to like give her a compliment without it being like pulling teeth. It's
Well, you know, when he does give her one of those compliments, she finally is like, he's like, what do you want? What do you want? I can give you anything. I'm like, I'm high faith. I can do whatever you want. And she's like, I like to paint. And he's like, I'll give you anything you want. I'll reopen the gallery. I'll get you paints. I'll get you so many paints.
All the paints. I have all the paints.
I'll give you the full last rainbow. Roy G. Biv, you got her, baby.
You got it, babe.
So he gives her Roy G. Biv and an art gallery.
Yeah.
And then he also grills her. He's like, very unsuavely, very Olay-like. He's like, so is there anyone that you love?
It's so unappealing.
And she's like, yeah, there's this one guy back home. Like, we used to, like, you know.
Yeah, we boned, you know.
We used to, like, roll in the hay. And they did because he was, like,
He was literally, like, a farmer or some
He was
shit.
a farmer's son. And so then Tamlin's all mad. He's like, well, did you love him?
Yeah, like, he's inexplicably jealous for no goddamn reason.
Did you love him? And she's like, nah, we just fucked. He's like, did you love?
I wish you guys could see her face right now.
Did you
Got her
love
jaw locked
anyone
so tight.
else? And she's like, nah, fam, I'm pretty like lonely.
I
he's
mean,
like,
like,
good.
I was too busy being a starving peasant.
He's like,
You
good.
kind of
Don't
saw
look this
that
way.
when
Yeah.
you threatened my family in our hovel you broke into.
You know, the kind that you and your people have let starve and die for, like, centuries now.
He's like, good. And then he leaves, and he's like, I'm gonna go get you those paints now, girl. Bye.
He has to realize how off-putting that is, right? It's like,
No, he
hey,
doesn't. I don't think he does.
But he redeems himself because, like, you know what? I was on the side of, like, the humans versus the fairies. There were some fairies on the humans, so at least I'm a good guy.
Also, again,
That's
yeah,
a point of contention for Noah, actually.
That's also a really big problem for me. Yeah, it's okay, apparently way back in the huge like human slave rebellion that fractured the world or whatever. some of the Fae chose the human side because they had like human friends and loves and all that.
I make my life
And disregarding the incredibly horrifying power imbalance any of those relationships would have had, given that like humans were a literal slave species under the thrall of the Fae in general. I feel it kind of like again leans into this weird insistence that the Fae are better than humans in every way. Was like,
they couldn't even win without her help.
Yeah,
Fuckers.
you guys fucking suck.
no, I
You
mean,
couldn't
like,
even do anything without us.
They joke, but like
But no, they
Tamlin
mean
and
it.
Lucian make it clear that that's actually very much the case. It's like, humanity would have stood no chance in any attempt to free itself without Fae intervention.
Because we're that much better. We sparkle, we got big dicks.
Which is like the opposite of what you'd think would be like an inspiring story.
It's like the story of like the oppressed fighting off for the name of freedom for them and their families, but also like they could never have done it at all. They were doomed to failure. It was a doomed
they
endeavor.
were.
It was a lost cause.
We're really laying it on thick, but they were.
Oh no, the implication is so bad. I can't believe you just said that.
I don't really believe that there's any kind of real like analogous real life American Civil War like analogs.
No, people who try to do that are really stretching.
Yeah, they're
it.
stretching, but at the same time, it's not
Well,
like
I guess the point is that it kind of like they say it takes away the whole narrative weight of that humanity banded together to fight the Fae, and it just makes this like I guess this idea that it's just like really shilling these characters, and it's like I feel like there's meant to be any kind of balance in the world. It's that humanity has numbers and ingenuity, Fae have magic and strength. It's like it makes no sense that there was ever a detente. It's like, why weren't the Fae just winning anyway? Why
you'd think maybe if there was like this ultimate war, because what I thought they were setting up in the first book when I was first reading the series, and then I was totally wrong, was
You were very wrong.
was that I thought they were setting up like basically that what Noah said, that the humans have something that the Fae don't have. And this ultimate war that was inevitably going to happen with Hybern, like
it's
they
just that
needed
want
the
slaves.
humans.
They just want some slaves.
They just want slaves. No, like
I'm a
like
slave.
I hate you right now. Like I literally thought that what would happen was that the Fae were gonna realize, because Feyre is like a former human, because spoiler alert, she like becomes a Fae later on in the
Rory,
series.
why are you spoiling the book?
I'm sorry. It's just something that I have to say, and it's gonna happen.
No,
and
you
most of the people listening to
don't.
this probably have read the book, honestly. But the thing is, if I thought because she has the knowledge as somebody who's a human or a former human, that she's gonna convince the Fae that what they need to win the war against Hybern would be people, would be humans, and the Fae would be like, what? That's fucking crazy. Like the humans suck, and she would have to be the one to convince them, like, no, you don't understand. The humans have something that the Fae don't have because they don't have
Weak
magic.
arms.
Weak arms. No spine.
Broken wheels.
Broken wills. Like, I thought that would be like a cool sort of like tie into.
You thought wrong.
Yeah,
bitch.
I thought so wrong. I thought the wall was gonna come down in like a really like cool way, like both physically and metaphorically, especially
But as you will
considering
see,
the
Noah,
two
that is
sides of the
not
wall
what
are magic,
happened.
which is intangible, and a real wall, which is tangible, and it would have been a whole cool narrative thing, but apparently not. I was wrong.
You were very wrong.
Okay.
So yeah, like I guess my this is like what all those points I was making lead up to, is my sort of issue with this shilling of the innate superiority of the Fae. Like it's literally a story, like they said, it's a story about like a girl who becomes a Fae, and this is meant to be a purely to her benefit. It's like everything that was human about you, everything that like was good about you, that you earned this right, that impressed us all so much that you were able to become one, is like, yeah, we need to get rid of that because that was the weak part. That was
Yeah, that part sucked.
Like
We're rebuilding you.
like that was the part that needed to be let go of to make you better. Like
Little
not
Miss
like
rebuilt from the inside out.
it's like not like the enduring capacity of the human spirit to endure in spite of hardship. It's like the innate weakness of humanity in the face of powers greater than itself.
Yeah, turns out you just needed fucking magic and immortality, and that's all you really. That's all you know.
That's what you were missing.
Yeah, that was what was wrong with you.
Things that you are not intrinsically born with. As in, if you don't get those, you're fucked.
If you're not born special, you're never going to be.
I mean,
Yeah,
most
definitely.
fantasy and this series especially really makes no secret of being super okay with like nepotism.
Mediocrity.
Well, yeah, that, but also like nepotism
Yeah.
and monarchists and
Yeah.
like
All right, so where were we like
the
in
next
the plot?
big thing that happens is she wakes up from a nightmare. She hears a lot of screaming. She goes downstairs, and then there's a blue fairy whose wings are ripped from whence they came, saying like, "Oh, she took my wings. She took my wings." Everyone was like running around, and Lucian looks like he's gonna vom in the corner, and Feyre kind of like just talks this nice guy to his death.
Cheery.
She comforts him in his last moments.
And he's like, why the fuck would you do that for like Faye that you hate? And she's like, I don't think it's right that anyone would be miserable.
Suffer alone.
And then she actually apologizes for killing Andress, and he's like,
the wolf.
Which
okay. The wolf was named Andress, by the way.
She could have like literally just say, I thought it was a wolf.
Yeah, like why did you admit that you?
Why do you feel like you need to apologize for killing a wolf? What?
Well, also, the thing is, too, it's like, in the context, at least from Feyre's perspective, again, there's a twist later, but, like, at this point in time in the book, like, she thought she did something so bad. Like, you killed Tamlin's, like, loyal friend and companion, and you're like, whoops. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, watching somebody die in front of me with their wings ripped to shreds really made me realize that, like, maybe killing Andros was wrong.
But she didn't know it was Andress.
It's just funny. Like,
yeah.
Well, okay, she kind of did, but didn't. You know what I mean?
She
like,
most definitely did.
It crossed her mind.
And then when he
was
didn't
a
turn,
fae.
then she was like, oh, it's not a fae.
Yeah, but she knew very well that there was a good, like, 50% chance that it could be a fae.
She did, but we're gonna kind of move past that because she got some coins from it. Remember, she got to get like Nesta new riding boots, and Elaine got some shit, and Feyre got nothing because that's how it worked. Moving on, what happens is the next day they all go for a nice ride to see the beauty of the glens, and we find out about Lucian's backstory. Noah, do you remember Lucian's backstory?
Yeah, he's from like the Autumn Court, right?
He's the son of the Autumn King.
Yeah, and he's like a dick, right?
Yeah.
Like doesn't he
the
have like
Autumn Court King is an asshole?
Yeah, doesn't he have like a couple of sons and he's like shitty to all of them or something?
Yeah, and those sons are sadistic. Like, absolutely sadistic.
Yeah, like the Lucian, the one who, like, set up Freya to die by proxy to death bat monsters. He's the nice one in the family.
Yeah, somehow.
And so, yeah, he's just kind of like...
And his lover was from, like the lower class, and his dad didn't approve. So he actually executed her and then went to go kill Lucian, and Lucian made his way to the Spring Court. So he like watched the woman he loved most in the world die, and now the entire Autumn Court hates him.
Well, they weren't mates, so who fucking cares about her?
But like he did.
Yeah, mates are a thing.
Screw your trauma, Lucian. Notice how in a few books he doesn't give a shit about that ex-mate? Completely erased from his memory.
Yeah, like mates are also a thing, and it's like more than just being in love, and it's kind of this weird. It's kind of this soulmate thing, and I'm really not on board with it. It just
like
kind of
Tamlin's parents were mates, and there's like this rose garden at the palace for them, and they hated each other.
Yep.
That was loud.
That was a good one.
So yeah, I don't know, the mates thing. I just find it confusing and not
very
great.
much so.
So yeah,
I don't have a problem with the mates thing as much as you might think. I got it. It's just I wish she would stop using it in fucking every book she writes.
Yeah.
You know, like
it's her signature. Her signature is big dicks and mates.
I know, but I hate
she's writing the MCU now, okay? I know
I just hate it. Like I actually think the mates thing works really well in ACOTAR. But because I'm doing Throne of Glass at the same time with you, and
it means a different thing.
And I know it means a different thing, but it kind of doesn't. Like
that's what I mean. If they were more distinct,
yeah,
like,
if they were
distinctly different,
very different, then maybe I would be able to be on board with it. But I just feel like, having experienced it the way she explains it in this world, I feel like this is the only world where it actually does make sense. Mm-hmm. And I do think she explains it very well, actually, to her credit. But I'm so sick of fucking seeing it now.
It's literally in every single one of her books.
And I don't like it.
It comes up in Crescent City, too.
Because here's the thing, right? Like, and this kind of ties into what Noah was complaining about not really, like, exploring the idea that human ingenuity and will and, like, the strength to carry on is really what carries the day in her story. It's like, the whole mate thing just takes away, I think, so many of her characters' autonomy.
It does, because it makes them, instead of it being like, I'm not going to use this example because he hasn't gotten to the point yet. But no, you're very correct, because as soon as like you are intrinsically tied with another person, you are no longer like yourself. You are their mate. You are their property. You are their. It's so degrading, and I get it. Like, a lot of people enjoy it, and for some people it wets their whistle. But in the fantasy sense, when you go from having like really strong MCs who don't need no man or doing all these things on their own, to then like crying and sobbing because their mate is exposed to some danger, it's like, yeah, I get it, but like, I thought that you were a bit, a bit different than this, Sarah.
Well, I also like the idea that people just have the ability to choose the person that they love.
You can only accept the mate bond or deny it and then never experience happiness.
Yeah, and the thing is, and I get where she's going in this series, where like there's certain characters who I'm not going to name, and other characters who I'm not going to name, where they're mates, but it's clear she's setting up the idea that they're not going to end up together to prove a point that not all mates like end up together. But at the same time, it's like, but then I'm not okay with that.
It's supposed to like destroy their sense of being to the core. Like, we haven't seen anyone deny the mate bond yet, because it's supposed to be like literally a dejection of a second part of yourself.
Well, and the thing is too, once you've introduced the idea in my head as a reader that people who are mates are intrinsically like connected, supposed to be together, then you as a reader, no matter how much you want to, as an author, make a point, I'm like, well, now they have to be together, because now it's like, well, you've just told me that this mating thing is such a huge fucking deal. Now, it kind of sucks.
That you can deny.
Like, yeah, like, it just kind of sucks
to
just not have them be together. So I almost wish it wasn't introduced at all, because it feels like the characters aren't choosing a partner because that's who they want to be with based on their flaws and their personality and their struggles and their strengths.
Speaking of their struggles and strengths, Feyre's illiterate.
Oh yeah, Feyre's illiterate. Yeah, that is a problem.
She actually can't read, which is a big problem. And Tamlin finds out, and that gets to this point in the book where we're at. And so essentially he's like, oh, I can teach you how to read. And she's like, what do you mean? I don't need to learn how to read. Shut up. And then, so eventually, once they're starting to get closer, because now they're getting closer, because they like went swimming in a pool together.
I think
because they went swimming in a pool.
I think it's more
as
like
you do.
I think it's more like she went swimming in a pool, and then he showed up uninvited and just kind of insisted in walking in naked and getting very close to her. And I honestly like.
I don't even remember that.
No. They went to when they were in the Glen talking about Lucian. He's like, yeah, well, Lucian witnessed his lover die, and then Feyre's like, let's go swimming.
Yeah, well, moving on from that.
I said I don't remember this very well. So moving past, after the whole Fae with its wings ripped off thing,
he's trying to teach her how to read and all that bullshit.
Teach her to read and all that. There's a lot of references to who the her was who tore off his wings.
Yeah, there's an invisible person after they come back from the woods one day when he gives her a lot of dirty poems that she doesn't know how to read because she's illiterate, but it's very, very, very sexual. Wow.
Yeah, kind of.
She comes back and there's like this person that they're talking to.
You ever think it's like kind of just giving porn to a blind person and as a joke? It's like, haha, I know you're looking at a sexy thing, but you don't realize it. I mean, that seems kind of like.
It seems a little assaulty, to be honest.
It seems a lot of like belittlement too.
Yeah.
I would feel really offended if I was her.
Yeah, it seems a little.
Which is why she didn't want him to.
It's real dicey.
Yeah, again, like that's
especially because he calls it a shortcoming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, again, also he likes to belittle her. He's like the master of negging. It's really uncomfortable.
And it's like very subtle. Like you don't notice the entire book until you're like rereading. You're like, oh,
you're an asshole.
You're kind of a jerk face, and I don't like you. But
so...
they come back, and in the garden, Tamlin and Lucian are talking to this invisible thing. Mm-hmm. And Feyre can't hear. She's hiding behind a bush. And it's like, we're almost out of time. And he's like, we're going to get you. And she's going to get you. And Amarantha is going to get exactly what she wants. And that's the first time we hear about who the she is.
Yeah, Amarantha. She's the big bad guy.
The big bad guy. The bad boy.
I'm not sure if they clarify what her role is just yet.
No, they don't.
I think in the gist, she's like...
evil.
She's evil and bad, and we don't like her, and that's the tea.
She's essentially some local warlord who just declared herself queen of everything.
Well, she was actually one of Hybern's, like, emissaries who
she
took
works,
over.
She works for the big bad evil king.
Yep.
Which weird implication that the lesser evil person in this series is the woman, and then we have the big bad king to deal with.
Yeah.
Okay, so unrelated to that, there's gonna be this big solstice festival. It's like this weird pseudo-pagan bacchanal thing.
It's called the fire. It's like a fire night. It's called Columni.
Oh yes, Columni was my favorite part of the book. I got so confused.
He tells her. I forget if he tells her she has to come or
No.
if she can't come.
No, she cannot come.
No, she's not allowed to.
She's not
He's
allowed.
very emphatic about it. Actually,
He's like, you cannot come, and she's like, ooh, maybe I should go. This
Yeah.
sounds like fun.
Because-
even though this is a place where people murder pretty easily without a second thought, I'm gonna go to this thing he told me was explicitly dangerous.
And she just
so-
decides to follow the drums.
Yeah, she follows the beat of the drums to this weird like tent bonfire thing. It's like Woods. It's like Woodstock meets Burning Man.
It is.
Yeah, pretty
But-
much.
But with sex.
Yes,
more
but
sex.
with weird
Because
culty sex.
Tamlin, who's the lord of the land, this is when all the bad guys come out to play, and he needs to make the ground fertile by spilling his seed inside of a maiden.
Yeah. Okay. So there's
It's
this,
so weird, even you explaining it. And
Which
I
is
get
why
it.
I made the
I get
noise.
it. I get it. Like it has internal logic. But at the same time,
It's so archaic.
why?
It's so archaic
Look,
to go from like I'm fighting on the side of slavery to I'm gonna fuck a woman to spread my seed metaphorically.
Yeah, it's
while
so
fire
weird.
is going
Yeah,
on in the
with
background.
fire.
So yeah,
But with fire.
my thing here is that like I think Tamlin is also basically a werewolf. He turns into that weird monster thing semi-randomly.
Just a beast.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
One could maybe say a beast.
Okay, so yeah, Feyre goes. She kind of gets glimpses of some of the weird shit that goes down. I forget if I think she.
Oh,
runs,
but she runs into somebody. Is that when this happens?
There are like 3 fae who are like, "Where are you going, you piece of meat?" And they're obviously like trying to
Catcalling
like
her.
they want to eat her. And then like this guy,
She
this
bumps into
mysterious
this guy.
stranger, he's like, "There you are. I've been looking for you."
Yeah, and she like describes him as the most
The
devastatingly
most
handsome
beautiful
man.
man she has ever met.
again, kind of another example of like inappropriate times to realize someone is hot. It's like
I'm about to be killed.
I just
sexy man.
Okay, I agree, but also disagree in this context because if you're just walking and you bump into someone who literally looks like a Greek statue come to life, you would fucking notice.
She was almost murdered / gang raped. I feel like that was not the time to like catch on to like that the next man you ran into was so hot. It's like
Yeah, like it's a bit of like I feel like I'm like being doused in ice water. Like what? But so he like kind of like shoos the other people away. He's obviously a high fae, and
He's
then,
obviously going to be an important character because you don't just describe someone as like the
most
most beautiful
beautiful
man
man.
you've ever met or seen, and he's not going to become important later.
And so
I
then
don't
he
know,
sends
Sarah J.
her.
Maas kind of likes doing that. I did read the first Crescent City book, and that is full of people commenting on how hot the main character is and it going nowhere.
but that's the main.
What
other
book did you
people-
read?
That's other people commenting on the
I will
main
dis-
character.
We will discuss this at length
What
later.
book did you read? No, they definitely talk about the main character. We'll talk about this later. I'm
They
sorry.
talk about it, but it doesn't just do. Nothing happens because.
You'll see why. It's in the next.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about because I haven't read that book. I'm
Anyway,
still on
she goes
Throne of
back up to the
Glass.
mansion after the hottest man she's ever seen saves her, and she's in her room. And then later, she hears the drum stop, and she's like, "I'm kind of hungry. I want to go for a cookie." So she goes downstairs, gets a
Idiot.
cookie, and she comes back up, and she's like cornered in the hall by like
Didn't learn her lesson.
by
literally,
Tam Tam.
literally didn't fucking learn her lesson. Like,
No.
went to Kalamni, almost got gang raped, despite being told to literally lock herself in her room, and then still, after getting saved by this beautiful man, to her luck, she goes out of her room again.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking idiot.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice.
Fucking set yourself
No,
on
no, no.
fire,
It's fool
bitch.
me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, also shame on you, because I'm a dumbass. And so he like gets really close. He's like,
Yeah.
He's all like
he's
sniffing
like,
her.
he's like, I smelled you there, and you weren't there. I tried to look for you, but you weren't there. I wanted to fuck you, but you weren't there. Let me tell
And
you what
she's
other things I wanted to
turned on
do. I
by
wanted
this.
to fuck you so hard. And then he bites her.
Yeah, and she's turned on by
She's
it.
so into it. And he's
Yeah.
like,
It's
very
"Ooh,
odd."
she's into it.
Well, I mean, it's yeah. I feel like they're actually like they're joking, but it's actually a lot worse than that. It's like
yeah, he was about
he's
to like rip her clothes off.
he's like clearly like out of his mind, high on the weird sex magic
Magic.
of the ritual thing.
He was in the epitome of an afterglow.
Yeah.
I don't not even an afterglow. It's more like in the middle of a psychotic episode. It's like he's
that's
he's clearly not in his right mind. He said like I could smell you, and I was really angry that I couldn't find you. So I think he got violent at one point.
Yeah, he pushed her against the wall and bit her.
No, I mean not just that. I mean like during his little ritual thing, he started to get pretty aggressive. Like I forget how it's phrased, but he's
it rough.
He said he had.
Ew.
He said he had to like basically settle for another one of the maidens.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and he's like real pissed about it.
So so there's a couple. There's like a selection of prospective maidens who he has to like. I'm saying this with a straight face. Spill his seed into.
His little semen out into the world.
He picked one. He made it sound like she was quite willing, but I got the implication from some of the way it's phrased that he was a little rougher than he probably would have been.
I get the
Unfortunately, they kind of expect that though with him.
I get the implication Sarah J. Maas is turned on by bodily fluids. Like it's a thing that comes up many times in her books. She's like really into it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a thing. Everybody's got their thing, but
she likes gardening a lot because she loves the seed.
Yeah, she's really into it. No judgment, girl, but I'm just letting you know I've noticed.
So
we see you,
we saw you,
and we don't know how to take it.
Yeah, so I'm not into it. But
moving a little bit
cool.
on. Okay, yeah, he bites her. It's weird.
And then she's like, the next morning, she's like, I'm going to let them see what they did to me. And he goes downstairs. He's like, don't look at me like that. I told you not to go outside of your room. And you did. This is on you.
Lucian is me the whole first book, dude. Everything Lucian says, I just fucking agree with. Like, you're right, Lucian. She sucks.
Do they learn about who... She mentioned the hot guy from the party?
No, not yet. So essentially, like, the next few chapters are just, like, them getting closer to each other. It is, like, she goes and has dinner with just Tamlin alone, and she wears a dress and not tunic and pants for the first time. Then they go out into the field, and Tamlin's like, wow, everything sounds so beautiful. They're singing up a nice tune, and she's
Tale
like,
as old as time.
She's like, dude, fucking check your hearing. He's like, no, for real. So he gives her some kisses, and then she gets all the fairy magic, and he gives her the gift of sight, which comes into play because the next chapter she wakes up and she's like, where did all these fairies come from? Because they just like appeared overnight. And so then she's like, what the fuck? Where's Alice, who's her like handmaiden? Because she sees this woman who looks like her skin is tree bark, and Alice is like, bitch, I'm right here. And she's like, Tamlin! She finds Tamlin, finds out that gift of sight kind of erased the glamour he had on absolutely everyone in the palace before. So now everyone looks like the fairy they are. And she realizes every time she's been trying to sneak around and do some sneaky shit, she's actually had a whole palace full of staff watching her going like,
this is played for a joke, but I feel this should be much more horrifying than it usually is. It's like, the reason you haven't been able to get away with anything is that I have, in fact, been spying on you. I 100% had people tailing your movements.
I have been infantilizing you to the highest degree, treating you like a toddler trying to sneak cookies out of a cookie jar.
Like, not only have I had a full house staff, actively, spying on you, doing your every attempt to flee my custody and return to your family who you love and miss, I have been letting you make these attempts anyway because I think it's funny to watch you try when I know you're powerless to get out of my power. It's like, dude, that's actually like really fucked up when you think about it. It's like I find your attempts at independence amusing. I will continue to I literally just let you try and escape to return to your family because I thought it'd be funny to watch you fail.
It's like cue her with like the Pink Panther theme, like doo doo
and the other fae are just like,
everyone just
look
watching
at this girl
her
trying to steal a fucking cookie.
like, it's so funny, dude.
So stupid. So later that day, they find someone impaled with the mark of the Night Court on them. So everyone's like, oh fuck.
Oh, and yeah, the Night Court. Does she know yet that everybody thinks the Night Court is evil?
Yeah, this is when he tells her that, like, the Night Court's evil, they're the worst. They literally just killed someone and put their head on a pike in our fountain.
Yeah.
I mean, that does sound pretty evil. I mean, maybe there's a context I'm missing, but like, I'm not sure.
No, that is pretty evil. You're right.
I'm not sure how else to interpret that.
No, it's only interpretable as pure evil. Yeah. But to counteract that, because Sarah J. Maas loves to do something horrific one chapter and one thing like super sweet the next one. So the next chapter is the summer solstice.
She's very good at having the most horrific kind of violence come the fuck out of nowhere.
Yep. So the next chapter is the summer solstice, and she's like, "Can I go to this one?" And Tamlin's like, "Only if you don't drink the wine."
What do you think Feyre does?
She definitely drinks the wine.
I mean, like, I can get a certain degree of not wanting to comply with someone who is functionally your captor, but I feel like there are certain, like, rules you should, like,
Also, now they've kind of, like, got this thing going on where they're both mutually attracted and they know that they kind of like each other.
Yeah, despite the fact that neither of them have any reason to be attracted to the other apart from being hot.
He can smell her arousal.
I know, but...
Why? But we don't know.
Why would that make you hot? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, knowing somebody else is turned on by you doesn't make you automatically turned on by that person.
Especially in this context, that's horrifying. It's like, oh my god, the man who is just confirmed I am wholly within his power and helpless to escape it thinks I'm attractive. That's, like, very worrying implications. Okay, so yeah, she drinks the wine, gets like...
And then they dance, and then
she gets like crazy,
night.
super magic drunk, and I don't think she even really fully remembers a big chunk of that night.
She remembers this night because she doesn't have a lot of the wine. But she and Tamlin go off in the field, and they make out a little bit. They have their first real kiss. And again, night and fucking day, because the next chapter, they're all eating lunch, blah, blah, and then here Roma's like...
Oh, yeah, this is a great scene, actually.
And they're like, hide Feyre! They glamour Feyre. She hides behind a curtain. And who walks in?
Hot guy!
The most beautiful man she had ever seen.
Random hot guy!
The man from the party, and they start talking. And who is it, Noah?
This fellow is named Rhysand.
I kept calling him Rhysand.
Yeah, you're wrong.
I do not trust him.
He is the Night Court man. He is the High Lord of the Night Court.
Yeah, he's also kind of an asshole.
Kind of.
Okay.
So
let's rewind. He's really an asshole.
Yes. He drips douchebaggery with his every breath.
And he's like
just kind of a dick. Like it's actually like.
He literally goes there to antagonize Tamlin. Like, you won't be able to break this. Time's almost up. You twirl back.
Yeah, like, the reason I say he's an asshole is, like, again, I have been spoiled just by kind of proximity to the fantasy circle, so I get that he's, like, a little bit of spoilers here, so, like, you know, please leave if you do. Like, without getting too spoilery, he is kind of brought around into the fold of the good guys a little bit, but I have a hard time retroactively justifying his actions because a lot of the things he does in this book are purely motivated by nothing other than a sheer love of antagonizing people who are already like down.
Like going to the spring court to say there's no way that you're going to save yourself or anyone. The time is up. And then he realizes that there's a glamour on someone because he sees 3 place settings at the table and there's 1, 2.
Oh, they also say something really important in this scene that implies that he's Amarantha's basically paramour. Well, they say whore, but I'm gonna say that they're in like a relationship, but like not.
He's
her paramour.
He's fucking the big baddie girl.
Yeah,
and then
they're fucking.
He realizes that someone's
bad.
there. Yeah, he realizes someone's there. He breaks into Feyre's mind, terrifies the living daylight out of her,
which is not good.
Which is, I think it's great. Sarcasm.
Oh yeah, he has like mind powers, which I'm so curious when they like inevitably make this into a TV show or a movie.
I feel like it's gonna be like a That's So Raven kind of looking.
Yeah, like it's gonna go into her eye, like whoosh. Like how are they gonna do like the mind shields and stuff? It's so hard to even visualize as a book. Let alone
I really just
if
hope it's not like fucking Bella Swan, like exuding like luminescence.
Yeah, like
and
so dumb.
Eventually, she says that he's like, "What's your name? Tell me your name." And instead of saying Feyre, for the one smart thing she's ever done is she says her name is Claire. And then he's like, "I'll see you under the mountain," and then he leaves.
Also, he was able to get into like her deeper memories, but didn't catch her name.
Correct. Because that would be too convenient.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, I get magical powers don't have any like hard, fast rules, but it does seem like a weird thing you would miss if you were like invading someone's mind. You missed their name.
Well, here's the thing. I'm so sick of fantasy writers not like having any rules about magic because there's so many times in this fucking series, and it's not just a Sarah J. Maas problem. It's a problem in general where I'm like, why can't magic fix this problem? Like, why? You're just making up fucking random reasons on the spot why magic cannot fix this problem. You know what I mean? I just feel like sometimes you're just saying magic
is a literal never-ending well until you need it to end.
Yeah,
okay,
it's crazy.
So nothing interesting happens. Okay, then they decide to like send Feyre back to the human realm.
Not before they what, Noah?
they have sex first.
And what comes out of his fingers? Shing!
Light. Claws?
Yeah,
claws.
he rips her undies off with a claw.
Okay, which...
The way you said that. Oh my god.
I was kind of actually getting to that. I wasn't going to like skip.
Sorry.
I wasn't going to like skip over everything. Okay,
that
so
was it though.
They opt. They decided to send her back, but they opt to have a sort of night together in a surprisingly tasteful sex scene. I must actually say, and that it was not. But it wasn't. It was more.
It's the only one you're gonna get in this series.
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good.
I mean, look, it's really the only time anyone has sex in this book. Which I really do notice something about Sarah J. Maas and what little I've been exposed to her. She kind of drips her books in sexuality, but has actually very little sex.
Yeah, that's very much her style.
Which, I don't know, like, I say this without, like, a trace of, like, lechery. It does seem a little off that they don't do it more, because it just, like... It just feels like and people in a relationship with every sexual encounter does not have to be magic. It doesn't have to be like
book 3, my dude.
It doesn't have to be like mind blowing.
Book
It's
4.
like
What about book 4?
I very easily could have settled for like times where like I've said some of her stuff where it's like and then we just had sex. It's
where's the handy? Like just give it.
Just give a nice handy. You could just say we had sex and move on. You know,
like the whole like dark door, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
So he fucks her, and she's like, "That was so amazing! Oh my gosh, your fairy dick wasn't too big for my little human pussy." And and so the next morning they wake up, and she's like, "All right, now that I'm your lover, I stay here forever." And he's like, "No, you're still going home." And I was like,
"He's like, no, fuck off."
And he's like, "You were a good lay, but I like you." Actually, he says, "I love you," and she's like, "I can't say it back to him because I'm leaving the next day." And I feel like that's a really good spot to leave our first little pause.
Oh, we're pausing now?
I want to go get strawberry shortcake.
Okay, fine. We'll pause. We'll be right back after we have our strawberry shortcake.
Ba-dum, ba-dum.
You have to find a way to send me these so I can listen to them.
They're just for me.
There's no way to like email them or like attach
They're massive
them?
files. They're like gigabytes and gigabytes.
Is there no way to do it? Where are we even gonna put these?
Beg me.
Please.
Please what?
Please send me these.
What will you do for me? Will you be my slave?
No. Fuck no. Sorry.
I wish you were.
Yeah, well, you know, we all want things.
That's going to be a great back intro. Hi, guys.
Hi. I knew you were going to do some shit like that.
Well, I did that shit, so I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Probably cost me our friendship.
Noah's not even here. Why would you even start this?
I don't know. I feel like we can segue back in, so... That way he'll come sit down awkwardly, and I'm gonna be like, "Hey, Noah."
You think people want to hear that? That was your
I
grand
hear
scheme.
That.
That was the scheme you had.
I want to hear that.
He's literally gonna take forever because he's gonna touch all the corners.
God damn it!
Like, he actually has.
So where were we?
We were in a place. Let's reintroduce ourselves, though. Hi, I'm Noah.
Hi, I'm sick of Ronnie's fucking face.
But she is staring across from me. So we were at the point where she just got ham-boned. And by ham-boned, I mean speared by his massive dong. And she's like, "Ooh, keep me as your sex slave." But actually, like, not really. And he's like, "No, I'm still sending you home because I care about you and I don't want you to die." And then they fall asleep together. And he says, "I love you." And she doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, she kind of like very persistently refuses to say it in the lead up to their leaving, and it's kind of a big. There's a bigger reason why he wants her to say it back, but even in a like. Even in like a normal context where this guy is clearly fishing for you to say you love him back before you leave him forever, it's like. Yeah, it feels like you could have thrown him a one.
Just indulge him.
Yeah, like you could have just thrown him a bone. I mean, fuck. Like
that's so mean too.
I don't know.
That's selfish. You know what I mean? Like I get that what she's going for is for Feyre to for fucking once like try to think, you know, and be like, you know, it's just too hard for me. But it's like it's not fucking about you.
So you're gonna make this man who like it's always like a saying, isn't it? It's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all.
Yeah, like
you're not gonna give him that moment of knowing that you loved him.
Yeah, I mean, fuck Feyre, use your brain for like 0.0 seconds and recognize
That's 0.0 seconds too long.
Literally, like, it was so infuriating, because, like, the second that he was, like, telling her to leave, I was like, oh, it's for her safety. Like, of course it's for her fucking safety. Like, and I'm not even the one having sex with this man.
And he says that too.
I already know that the reason he's doing this is not because he doesn't want her, and she's being so petty and fucking insecure.
He doesn't want me.
That's
It's
so
ridiculous.
annoying.
I mean, like, context clues, Feyre.
It's not that difficult.
So, yeah, it's like
So then the next morning, he also throws her another bone, and he says, I love you, as the carriage is going away. And she's like, mm-hmm. And it was nice to know you too.
So she goes back home. She meets up with her family. They're rich now. Apparently, he meant his promise.
He definitely did.
He, like, helped. I don't know how he did it, but he used magic, I guess, to, like, set them up and get them deals with some of their old
Apparently,
merchant friends.
the lost ships that held the reason why the father was, like, excommunicated from the merchants, they miraculously turned up. And so all the riches that were on those ships that got his literal kneecaps bashed in, I would have felt, like, really bad if I was a dad. Like, you fucking bashed my kneecaps in and they're right goddamn here.
They've been here the whole time.
Well, like, again, that feels like another reason to be kind of upset. It's
Can
like,
you imagine being the guy who bashed in his kneecaps?
Just
like,
like-
oh shit, dude, I'm sorry.
He just silently walks
My
into
bad.
the ocean.
well, I mean, not how loan sharking works, but moving on.
I'm just saying.
Fantasy world, Noah, we can do whatever the fuck we want. This is a
I
fictional
think
world.
their memories are the memories of the family are a little vague as to, like,
She went away to a rich aunt.
yeah, like, he kind of mind wiped them and planted false memories in their brains, which, again,
Worked for everyone but who?
I think Nestra.
Nesta.
Nesta.
Her name Nesta.
Nesta. Okay, Nesta for some reason remembers what went down.
And Nesta was the cruel one, like the evil one.
She was never evil. She was just kind of a bitch.
She like refused to.
Nice.
I've been waiting. She like refused to do anything. She was like mean to her sister. She only cared about Elaine. Like she was only ever nice to her.
Yeah,
Sweet
yeah.
Elaine.
Yeah, we get it. We get it. There's people. They're human. But
Nesta's a bitch.
I love Nesta.
well,
I've always loved Nesta.
My point here is isn't Nesta? Oh, Nesta's special. It's he can apparently mind wipe people and implant false memories in their brains whenever he feels like it, and he did this to her family. That's deeply distressing. I would be doubting every single encounter I've ever had with that man going forward. It's like, did I like him, or do I just remember liking him as he mind raped me and implanted false memories of my liking him? Like, these are just things he can do casually. There is no follow-up onto the implications of this.
Okay, Noah. Okay. Those are good points, but have you ever considered it's just sexy?
Like, I could have alleviated your family's suffering anytime I felt like it, but I didn't, and then I mind raped them and implanted false memories to make it the pill go down easier.
Yeah, he did that. Yeah, he did that for sure.
Definitely did that.
He did
Isn't
that.
he such a sexy man?
What a heartthrob.
I'm sorry, not a man. He's a male.
Oh, God.
Yeah, okay.
What a heart.
There's really
breaker.
a lot of animal terms in this. So, yeah, basically Nesta remembers
You know,
it.
for somebody who's supposedly crafting love stories, she's very animalistic in her approach to love.
Again, very archaic.
Yeah, it's very
My
like...
loins scream for you, therefore you will be mine.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, personally, I'm not into fucking narratives as much as I'm into, like, actually...
Sensual lovemaking.
Okay, no. But, like... I just mean... What do you want? No, it doesn't... Okay, the way
Do you
you
want
said
sensual
it was...
fucking?
The way you said it was weird. But no, I'm saying, like...
Did I say
it
weird?
feels like...
Yeah.
It feels like aggressive, you know? It feels like less meaningful, and I'm more interested in characters' emotions.
It degrades the women, I feel, to
Yeah.
what is between their legs.
It's not even just the women, it's them, the men, too. The men are, like, walking, 10-inch dicks, bro. Like, it's crazy.
They're
like-
walking blue balls.
Yeah, they're like a walking six-pack with giant fucking penis. Like, you're just
giant fucking
there's
fairy
there's definitely an attitude I've caught on with her that like, and honestly a lot of fantasy romance authors I've seen, because
especially now.
Yeah, look, don't read into this. I read a lot of actually like paranormal romance. Don't judge me.
Briggs.
Patricia Briggs.
Different. That's not what that is. That's urban fantasy. That's different.
I'm so sorry.
And like there is this kind of weird like trend that Moss indulges in, but is by no means like
the only one.
Mm-hmm.
In that there definitely is like this tendency of people to be like weirdly preoccupied with sex, and like I know that sounds weird. I know like this all the jokes on the comment section about like, yeah, people like sex, whatever, blah blah blah. But
it's almost like these writers were like suppressed Catholic girls who were always told don't talk about sex, and then it translated into like their novels, because like that's a very like sheltered perspective on it.
A bit. Mm-hmm. And I think that's more my point is that like what I said earlier, like nosing people are hot when it's not a good time to be nosing people are hot. Like I'm in mortal peril and this guy's jumping at me, but all I can think about is how tight his ass is. And
it's so scrumptious.
Like his like the jeans hugged every curve of his fine masculine butt as he decapitated a man and his arterial blood splattered all over the walls of the alley I was in.
You know what I think
one of those things is more important than the other.
I mean, it's obviously the ass.
Here's the thing. On a serious note, at least for me and the way that I approach stories, because look, I like a good steamy scene as much as the next person. I like a good action scene as much as the next person. And I know I'm not probably saying anything new, but I just feel like it bears reiterating just to reinforce to someone out there that I feel the same as they might, is I am so much more interested in characters' relationships to one another outside of a sexual context. And if sex is intermingled with that emotional connection, then that's fantastic. And I'm not saying every book character has to have like a deep emotional connection to have sex, but I just feel like when every book you have is completely wrapped up in people having sex and then discovering that they're in love with one another, it gets to be kind of old and there's no complexity to it. I want a mind game, like I want like intrigue. I want there to be some level of emotional stakes. Like it just doesn't feel like sometimes in some of these books, and it's not just about her, but there's no interest in crafting a narrative that is focused on human emotional experiences in a way that feels complex, like an actual person would be dealing with.
You're forgetting that the other half of this equation isn't human.
That's a fair point, but at the same time, when you're a humanoid creature who claims to be superior to actual humans and you've been alive for literally thousands of fucking years and you've learned absolutely nothing about emotional maturity, then I have an issue.
It's inconsequential to them, though.
But it's not clearly, because they clearly experience the same emotions that people do and don't explore them.
It's weird, though, because the emotions they experience, I see it, but at the same time, Tamlin's taking this like it's the first time he's ever seen something with an ass and curves. Like,
yeah.
It's very odd. It's an infantile kind of way of looking at relationships and the idea of attraction.
Yeah.
And for someone who's been around that long, you would think that he had like kind of a different approach. I don't know. It was just, he was a child.
Yeah, he acted like a child. He said he's clearly sexually experienced. He's old enough to have achieved emotional maturity.
But he hasn't.
And yet he hasn't and is still like,
yeah,
exactly, kind of enraptured at the thought of being with a woman sexually. And it's like, I feel the novelty should have worn off. And I apologize if it seems like we're all preoccupied with the sexuality of the book, but it's not entirely our fault. That's a very heavy theme in it.
It is.
And I mean, having said all that, I know a bunch of people are going to come at us and be like, well, if you read the rest of the series, like, I understand where the rest of the series goes.
But for the first book in the series? But for the
first book, and I get, on some level, it was a conscious choice to have certain
big red herring.
Yeah, have certain interactions be a certain way, but I'm just saying my piece as a side note, as just a general approach to romance, because I'm getting a little sick of
the same thing.
It's fucking
tiring.
thing. In terms of, like, just like making me ship people because I want them to fuck so bad.
Speaking of shipping, then,
Yes.
She ends up telling Nesta everything.
Oh, yes.
And Nesta's like, go back to your High Lord. Why the fuck are you here? We don't need you here. And when I first read that, I was like,
lol.
harsh.
That was so fucking pointless.
But then I kind of was like, oh, she's like giving her an out. She's saying, we don't need to be back here. We are safe without you. Get the fuck away. I don't want you. So what does she do?
It's worth knowing that the big impetus for her deciding to leave is also that the house of the girl whose name she gave to Rhysand was burned down. Her whole family
Claire
with it.
better.
Yes, Claire better.
It said the house burnt down and they couldn't find Claire's body.
Yeah.
So right there,
She's like, oh shit.
so she goes back.
To quote John Mulaney, I had the thought that only blackout drunks and Steve Urkel have. Did I do that? That's Feyre's thought.
It's fitting because she did.
Yeah, because literally that was exactly her fault.
So she goes back to the spring court. She sees Alice, and Alice is like, what the fuck are you doing here, girl? We don't need you here. And finally, we're able to hear what happened. So Noah, I want to hear the best of your recollection. What is the Blight?
Okay, so it's like this weird curse Amarantha put on like a spring court, and like that seems to be spreading
Everywhere.
That seems to be just generally spreading everywhere. It's implied, at least it's at least partially on the orders of the High King, but it's also come kind of weird, like just personal beef she has.
No, it's entirely personal beef.
Okay.
She came over as the ambassador, and
she went to a party that
went
Tamlin
rogue.
was at. Yeah, okay. I know she was like, I remember her. She went rogue at some point. I wasn't sure like to what degree the Blight was her being rogue.
She threw the party. Yeah, that's when she put the masks on everyone.
Okay, there was a party. Apparently, she hosted it.
She roofied everybody.
Quite literally.
Yeah. There was a masked ball. You know, the mask. They were all stuck on their faces. Remember that from the beginning?
Yep. It was actually a ball to kind of apologize for the fact that she wanted to get with Tamlin. Tamlin sent Lucian to say no, and then she punctured Lucian's eyeball out.
Yeah.
That's why we didn't mention that Lucian only has one eye.
Yeah, it was an apology ball. She's like, sorry for stabbing your
friend's
bestie
eyes
in the eye."
out.
Yeah, whoopsie.
So yeah, everything's going chill. I think she made like another advance on Tamlin.
Mm-hmm. And he says something very significant.
He says something very specific. He rebuts her in a oddly specifically worded way.
He was like, I would get with a human girl before I ever got with you. And she was like, fuck you. Because the reason
that's a good segue to make a curse if I ever heard one.
Well, because her sister was killed by a human male named Jurian who betrayed her on the battlefield.
Yeah,
this is a whole
there's a whole backstory. Like Jurian was like the head of the human rebellion. He's allegedly, I'm told, there's like some more context to this in the future books, but as it's laid out in the first one, he basically seduced her sister onto the human side. She fed him information,
then he brutally betrayed her,
and then she was betrayed
she died.
and killed.
So that's why Amarantha's like, fuck you, I lay a curse 7 times 7 years, which would be 49, in which I will hold everyone captive, and then I will take over completely as a high queen. If you cannot find a human woman who hates you with every morsel of her being, who kills one of your own and then loves you,
which
basically
is, again, oddly specific.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Yeah,
super fucking specific.
He has to not only make a human girl fall in love with him, it has to be a human girl who hates the Fae so much she takes the life of one out of the name of hate.
Unprovoked for pure hate, yeah. So that's what we find out. And apparently there's another part of the curse that we just don't know about. And Alice has she's like, and there's one more part of the curse that you should you heard that one? Like, it's like she cannot say it. It's part of the curse itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she can't tell her. But so basically, though, in essence, she's telling Feyre, so you could have broken the curse like a bunch of times already, and you fucking didn't.
She was like, all you had to do was say you loved him. You loved him with your stupid whole human heart, and we would all be fine. But
now
you
we're
didn't
fucked because of you.
And so now they go where, Noah?
This is where they go under the mountain.
Correct. It's in what we call the middle, which is between the I believe it's between the solar courts, so the dawn, day, and night, and the seasonal courts, which are the summer, and the autumn, winter, and spring. And it's like no man's land. There's like a few other things in there that like are present in the other book, but one of them is the mountains. So they go there, and immediately
she's pretty much captured almost instantly.
Like, for this really smart huntress, she gets caught right after that.
Yeah, she's like marching down there all like proud of herself. Like literally, into the thick of it.
Like, she goes like with like plans of rescue, which she's almost immediately overwhelmingly captured in her first encounter.
You know what that reminds me of? It's like in the old Spider-Man game where like, you know, you're facing off against Mysterio and he's like got a full like health bar and he's like, oh, and then you like hit him once and he dies.
Yep.
Like she's like marching down there like, I'm gonna go save Tamlin, and then immediately she gets fucking captured. Like,
fuck, I can't save Tamlin.
So she's captured. She's basically dragged before Amarantha, who's got like Tamlin by her side because he's like being forced to be with her. Unclear how far that goes, but he's basically a captive. I think Feyre is able to sort of negotiate conditions in which like she can free herself and him.
Amarantha's like, I love the goal that you have, so here's what I'm gonna do, girl. I'm going to, for the next 3 full moons, you're gonna compete, and if you compete, I'll let them go.
Yeah, and she says she gives you like 2 options that are like run parallel to each other. It's either complete the 3 deadly challenges or solve a riddle. Mm-hmm. And she only gets 1 chance with the riddle, but if she gets it right, then she can just skip everything and,
And then they would be freed instantaneousely.
Yeah.
But because Feyre is as dumb as a fucking pile of rocks, she, of course, is unable to solve the riddle.
It's like a 7-line poem, but the second one, I immediately do the answer.
Yeah, same.
There are those who seek me a lifetime, but never we meet. And those I kiss, but who trample me beneath ungrateful feet.
Love.
At times...
That's how I felt, dude.
At times I seem to favor the clever and fair, but I blessed all those who are brave enough to dare.
Love.
In my large, my administrations are soft, handed and sweet, but scorned I become a difficult beast to defeat.
It's love. It's so obviously love.
For though each of my strikes land a powerful blow, when I kill, I do it slow.
It's love.
So if you guys picked up, it is actually the sentiment of hate. But it's love. And Feyre hears it. She's like, I don't know what the fuck it is. So she agrees to this, and Tamlin next to her isn't really doing anything. Oh, she sees Claire Bedor. Like, she's like spread eagle on the wall. Like,
can I just say, I'm sorry.
Yes.
But can I just fucking say that I know that I'm sure we're not the only people to point this out, but just for the sake of saying it because it's fucking hilarious, the poem, the riddle is so obvious. Like, and I get that Feyre's stupid and she's like not good at this kind of thing.
Fucking sucks at it.
But my 15-year-old brother also read this book, and he literally, I say to him, what do you think the answer to the riddle is? And he goes, I don't know, because I don't want to be, I think I know what it is, but I don't want to be wrong, and then I'm going to feel stupid. And I was like, no, seriously, like, I think it's exactly what you think it is. Like, it's exactly what you think it is. And he literally was so apprehensive, because he's like, no, then I'm going to say it, and then you're going to think I'm dumb, because he was like, it's too obvious. And he literally cringed and went, is it love? And I was like, yeah, it's fucking love. And he goes, no way. Like, he was so
also
dumbfounded.
Big baddie who wants love, and she's doing everything she can to keep Feyre from getting it.
Yeah.
What do you think the answer's gonna be?
It's like so dumb. Like, that is just to an insane level of like not at all clever.
It's just so bad.
So
and
funny.
then so Feyre agrees. She's like, deal. And then immediately she gets brutally assaulted and passes out.
Yeah.
And she wakes up in a prison cell.
Yeah, she just kind of hangs out there for a while. I think Rhysand makes an offer of help.
No. That's actually after the first trial. First, Lucian comes in. He's like, why the fuck are you here? Like, what? She's like, I love him.
Idiot.
And he's just kind of generally an asshole. Again, I'm told his behavior is mostly explained, but for the most part,
For Rhysand?
Yeah, like in the second book, right now he's just kind of an asshole. Like he's
She goes to like a thing, and she was like all beaten, bruised, whatever. And Amarantha threatens to like kill Lucian in front of her if she doesn't tell her real name because she still thinks it's Claire. And she's the nice person, and she tells it as Lucian's getting beat up. So obviously a Ying.
Even though she owes Lucian absolutely fucking nothing
they're
because he
kind
tried to
of
have her
friends.
killed like multiple times.
Kind
okay.
of friends.
Yeah,
I
they're
don't
kind
know.
of friends, but I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think Lucian would have thought twice about literally having her murdered if it was the other way around.
Yeah. It is the first trial after she saves Lucian's life. She wakes up and to two guards bring her into like this pit, and she finds out that like someone in the crowd has everyone's bet against her, but one person bet for her. We don't know who that is. So
Who could it be?
I don't know. But she goes down into the into like this thing and
Giant mud pit.
into a mud pit, yeah. And essentially, you know that SpongeBob episode where that worm comes out?
It was big, hairy, and pink.
Literally.
Why are we talking about Patrick's belly button?
I imagine she is facing what we call the worm, WYRM.
Yeah, it's a
and I
worm.
imagine it's the SpongeBob like
Alaskan
inchworm.
bullworm.
Yeah, I really do.
Also, to clarify,
I literally also pictured the Alaskan bullworm.
Worm spelled WYRM is often used in reference to a dragon, so this is kind of a letdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
You
would've
just
been
get
cool
this
if
like
it was a dragon.
this little slithery shit thing. So she's in there. She realizes it can't see, it can only smell. So she douses herself in its feces. So she blends in. Then she creates a trap because of course she's Feyre. She's a huntress, and the worm impales itself.
I have to say, actually, in this instance, this is one of the few times her like background as a huntress becomes relevant and interesting.
Yeah.
I confess the fight team was a little confusing on a read to understand what was actually happening in the layout of this battlefield. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. But it is like one of the few times Feyre gets to be smart. Like,
Yeah.
she's able to like understand this creature and its habitat, what its senses are, and how she can like exploit its lack of certain senses to her benefit, and she's able to beat it.
And the one time where she's actually at a disadvantage, the worm, like, she loses track of it. She hears, "Behind you!" It was Lucian, like, calling out to save her. So you know something bad's going to happen to Lucian now. But she breaks her arm in this whole thing, and she wins, but it's covered in mud and feces, and she blacks out from the pain. The worm is dead, and she gets brought back to her cell, and she soon enters like this really horrible fever because her bone is exposed. It is super infected, and Lucian had come to heal her last time, and he's not showing up.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you cover yourself in feces and then have a giant flesh wound as a human being.
Not even just a flesh wound. It's like an open wound.
Yeah, it's like a huge,
Open fracture.
huge wound.
And then Noah,
with shit in it.
who comes in this time?
This time, Rhysand comes in.
Yeah.
And I think we learned I think, was the one who bet in her favor.
So he won like a fuck ton of money.
He was like, I was already rich before, but that definitely didn't damage my coffers.
Yeah, so I think he offers to like fix her up if like she agrees
For a bargain.
for a deal. Apparently, fairies still make bargains for some reason, even though they do nothing else.
Yeah, the bargains are what are binding, but literally nothing else they've done
Except
so
they
far
can
has
lie.
been true.
So
They can lie, but if they make a deal, it's a damn good one.
I mean, that
I'm just
feels.
wondering now too. She made a deal with Amarantha. Where the fuck is that tattoo?
That's a good fucking point. Where's the tattoo for Amarantha?
For their context, I don't think she accepts initially, but upon eventually agreeing under more or less coercion, she gets a magical tattoo that denotes her ongoing sort of
Bargain with
Yeah.
Rhysand.
It's
Yeah,
a gorgeous
bargain.
tattoo. It's like goes up
Tattoo.
her arm, and it has like a big eye in the center of her palm.
So yeah, she has a tattoo to know that she's currently under the sort of geist of a bargain.
She needs to spend 1 week every year, every 1 week every month with him in the night court if they were to get out.
Why? We don't know.
Again, unclear reasons, and
Yeah, he has
honestly,
absolutely no reason whatsoever.
But the fact that
from
he
her
offers that-
perspective,
The
to
fact
do
that he
this.
offers that bargain like 1 week a month back in the night court, that shows that he believes in her.
Yeah, it's nice, but again, it's so funny.
Why?
It's so funny because he's so obviously going to be a super important character in the next book, because why the fuck else would he be
Helping
doing
her
this?
right now in literally the final third of the book.
You know, like, why else would he be doing this?
Yeah, so she makes the deal, and then because she's like whatever fucking Cinderella, Amarantha's like, I want my walls clean. And the walls are like disgusting and she's using dirty water. So really the payment for her fucking like saving Lucian's life is Lucian's mom, the queen of the Autumn Court, coming over and replacing the dirty water with clean water. Like, how is that like a life for a bucket of water? Like,
I don't know, dude.
I mean, I guess it's the most you could do in the circumstances.
I know, but then she's like, consider the debt repaid for what you did for Lucian. I'm like,
that's not the same thing, bitch. That is not the same thing at all.
She could have come in and healed Feyre.
Yeah, that is not even
she
close
literally
to the same
could have come in and healed her.
That actually might have been a more immediately useful.
And yeah, thanks for your dirty
and more
water,
relevant,
bitch.
literally a life for a life in that case. But you know what? It was because they were like, we're gonna kill you if you don't clean. But like, of course they wouldn't have. They like the entertainment.
Yeah, they wouldn't have killed her because people have money riding on this. Like, what do you mean?
It's ridiculous. So then she has to clean a chamber pot. It's in Rhysand's like room, of course. And Rhysand gets mad at the guards and like, don't make her do any more stupid shit or else I'm gonna kill you. And I'm like, again, where are his motives coming from?
What are
like,
your
why does he
fucking
want to make sure that?
motives?
So it's really ridiculous. So then she's just sitting in there. Eventually, Lucian comes by and is like, "Why didn't you wait until like I came over to heal your arm?" And she's like, I was dying."
Dude, I was like gonna pass out from the pain, and you were taking your sweet ass time to come to my jail cell.
It's worth knowing that I think even when she like makes the bargain, I'm not sure she's like entirely in her right mind. I think she's like
she's kind of delirious.
She's like fevered and delirious,
she's so ill.
and I think she even like does actively regret making the decision, even under those circumstances. She's like, I would not have done that had I been like rational and sane at the moment.
Yeah, but she was in a lot of pain too.
In retrospect, she does say to Rhysand, like, you could have asked for anything. Like, you could have asked for all my time, and he only chose a week. So, I don't know. It's, like, weird at this point. We don't know what's up.
I always had a suspicion, too, that Rhysand was the reason Lucian got delayed.
Rhysand?
Yeah. Like,
No. Lucian was beat up brutally because he spoke out for Feyre at the event.
He fixed her arm. Why didn't he fix him?
Yeah, why didn't he fix Lucian?
I don't... Why Rhysand didn't
fix
Lucian?
I'm saying it was his excuse to go talk to her. You know what I mean? Like, I think he was really taking advantage of the situation.
Rhysand's bargain was to, like, kind of, like, egg on Tamlin, which is what Amarantha wanted, to, like, kind of, like, you know, Amarantha's digging this whole Rhysand-Feyre dynamic. She really is. But if he had helped Lucian, that would have seemed, like, really sus for, like, crossing the court lines. Why are you helping Lucian? Like, it's a bit more, like... It's a bit easier to pretend like you're playing with the food.
I see what you mean. Yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe.
Yeah, like, anyway, so now they're at this thing that's, like, really contentious in the whole ACOTAR community. Some people are like, oh, this is fine. Some people are like, oh,
I'm
this
not
is
gonna
actually
speak
fine.
on it.
So, it is the, do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, doesn't he make her his arm candy?
Yeah, that's a nice way of putting it.
So
that's a
basically, during the just to be clear, there's apparently long stretches of time between the trials.
It's full moons.
Yeah, so it's like there's like a month between trials. So there's a long period of time where she's just a captive.
Which is like nothing for the fairies. But...
Yeah, like for one of the things the Night Court and Rhysand and some of the others get up to is they throw these big parties.
No, it's just everyone. Everyone's attending.
Okay, everyone's attending.
Amarantha holds them like every night.
Yeah, these big parties, and she decides she has to attend, and Rhysand.
He like dresses her up in like literal like see-through silk and paints her arms and he drugs her.
He basically drugs her.
So
she goes through the night
non-voluntarily, by the way. I don't think she's like consenting when he basically like says you have no choice but to take this fairy wine before you go in.
He uses as like an escape, but she doesn't remember anything.
Yeah. So to be clear, according to him, I think it's established to be clear. Like he doesn't do anything like actively sexual to her. Like he doesn't make her have sex with him or anyone else.
Because remember, she has the body paint on.
The body paint is like
everyone can see who's touched her, and it's almost for her to kind of see too that he didn't touch her.
Yeah, but like that does not mean he also it's like wearing what's described as more like I think it's like almost like tissues more than anything, and like a see-through silk. That doesn't even cover that much to begin with. She like apparently does dancing provocatively, she sits on his lap and he like puts his arm on her hand on her waist, and it's like,
Yep.
I think it's the idea that they assert is that he's doing this to like prove he's doing something degrading to her without having to go on like full on sexual assault. But I still feel like
It's weird.
It's weird, and there's like, you gotta understand. I know people can defend the actions of the characters, but you gotta understand this is still a story that Sarah J. Maas chose to write, and she chose to make it that this is the circumstances they were in.
And like, I'm just thinking, if he really had no malintent, why didn't he tell her? No one else can infiltrate Feyre's mind except for Rhysand.
Yeah, because he's got like the special
He's
powers.
the only one with the Damati powers. We know they're called later. So like, why didn't he at least tell her, like, look, this has to happen?
Yeah, or like ask her.
He could have played it off as like, because he's still trying to be like that evil seeming guy. He's not trying to be nice, whatever. But he could have been like, you need to go to this, and quite frankly, I don't want you to remember what happens, but I won't do anything because it's not fun.
He could have. The thing is, I get he's trying to keep up appearances for Amarantha, but he has no reason to hide that from Feyre.
Yeah.
Like,
well, he doesn't want to seem like a good guy.
But I don't get fucking why. Like, why? Why not in this context
like,
do you have to seem like a bad guy to Feyre? That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
Yeah, like that just seems inherently to like make her mistrust you at a critical juncture where her trust is kind of a really important resource to muster in this like.
It's kind of unfortunate because as they continue, she sees it as like an escape. So like,
yeah, if he just fucking said to her like, dude, I can make you not remember being humiliated for months at a time. Like, just say the word, and she'd be like, actually, that sounds like a great idea. Will you make sure I'm cool? And he'd be like, yeah, I'll make sure you're cool. And
it's
then,
like
it would
you
just be
have
fine.
to go to these parties. Do you want to remember? He could have honestly gotten another bargain out of it. Like, and even kept up the appearance that way. Like,
yeah,
if you promise to blah, blah, blah every day,
I'll make you forget. I don't know.
I will not hurt you. At one of these parties, though, a high fae from the summer court is caught trying to escape. And so Rhysand crushes their mind like a bug, and the Summer King kind of like looks at Rhysand as like, tip in the hat.
Like, thanks. That was nice of you.
Thank you. Second task.
To be clear, the reason that was nice is because Amarantha probably would have tortured them worse. So basically,
Yeah.
So functionally, like,
It was a mercy
lobotomizing them
killing.
to the point where they don't
Correct.
really have a personality or sense of capacity to think anymore was like the nice thing to do.
She was like, I didn't want you to melt his mind. Just torture him a little. He's like, whoops, got carried away. Noah, the next task.
Next task.
Task number 2.
Number 2.
The lever thing. The lever.
The one with
lever
Lucy.
thing. The one with Lucian.
Yeah. I actually forget that one.
So that's
isn't like a series of doors or something?
It's 3 levers on the wall, and Lucian's on the other side. She's on this side. Lucian's too far away from her to actually like see the levers, but there's like almost like this old-fashioned Indiana Jones style like system coming down from the ceiling with spikes on them, and she recognizes that there are letters on the wall and it's a riddle, but she's a dumbass and can't, well, not a dumbass and can't read, but rather she never
Feyre is a dumbass on top of the fact
that she can't
separately that she can't read.
And Feyre like never actually took Tamlin's thing to heart when he offered to teach her to read, and her pride got in the way, so she didn't. And so she goes to reach for a lever and she feels like this hot like ouch on her hand, and then she reaches for the other lever and there was nothing, and then she reaches for another letter and ouch, and it's the hand that has the tattoo on it. She looks up and Rhysand is just like looking nonchalantly at like a piece of dust on his shirt, and she pulls the lever that doesn't hurt, and it saves everyone.
This is a little suspicious.
Why is he saving her? We don't fucking know.
What's your deal, Rhysand?
What's
but
your
considering this is a Sarah J. Maas book and hot guys are only ever nice to girls because they want to fuck them, make some assumptions, because I certainly did.
So, Noah, what do you think about that trial?
Well, again, in this case, it kind of feels like it undoes a little bit of what the first trial did. Of now, her success is entirely dependent on outside intervention.
Yeah.
And not even really something she did. Like, again, as far as we're aware, she's done nothing to actually warrant this. Now, I'm not saying that as in, like, she's, like, doesn't deserve to be helped or that this is a good cause. It's that, like, from her perspective, she's had no interaction with Rhysand that would motivate him to help her. Like, she wasn't, like Lucian, where she like did him a kindness and was repaid by those who love him, or like that they have some kind of bond that makes him want to help her. Like, this is entirely the aid of an individual she has no power, influence, or friendship with.
The implication is that,
him for reasons outside of her understanding.
Yeah, the implication is that he sees her as a means of escaping this, but at the same time, we don't know if that's actually what's happening.
Well, you know,
again, regardless of what the context is that like this is not something she ever did anything to warrant through her own actions. Like,
no.
Again, she did not make any conscious effort to do Rhysand a solid.
She met him once.
She met him once in very hostile conditions, and now he is, of his own accord, making an effort to help her. Like, she has no...
Yeah, that's clearly suspicious. There's clearly more to this story.
Well, I mean, I get that, but I'm saying I'm from the perspective of someone who read this book...
And only this book.
There is no, action she took that earned her this reward.
Well, you know what makes me annoyed about this task? And I don't like to get into the habit of suggesting fixes because it's not my story, and who the fuck am I?
Just one thing I want to say also is that it also kind of means the whole Chekhov's gun of Tamlin teaching her to read amounted to nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to teach you to read, and now here's like a task reliant on your ability to read, and you learn, actually I have to do that so seriously, so I never actually learned anything.
That's what I'm going to say. What that's kind of ties into what I'm about to say is that, I don't like to get into the habit of suggesting changes, but what I think would have been cool for this scene, especially because I think the tasks, if she really wanted to do this subversion of a princess story, because really in all fairness, as much as I don't love Beauty and the Beast retellings, the one thing I do like about them is the idea that the woman's the one who has all the power to save somebody in the relationship.
But now she's relying on this man and who's an evil Gaston.
And she's continuously fucking relying on dudes because they have fairy magic in this story, and the trials I thought were like a cool opportunity to show that Feyre's capable of saving herself and everyone else.
Quite literally, she had the intervention of Lucian. She had the intervention of Rhysand.
Yeah.
And in the last one, that's the only one where she thinks for herself.
Wouldn't it have been...
We'll get to that last one, but the last one, it kind of we'll get to that.
Well, the second one, I think, would have been really cool if she did learn how to read, right, from Tamlin, or at least partially, and was unconfident in the task, right, but did it anyway, and she solved the riddle and picked the right lever. And it kind of gave her a level of confidence, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can try and solve the riddle.
And then she immediately gives up.
Yeah, but then second guess herself because, maybe I just got lucky. There were only 3 levers. It was best chance out of 3. Maybe my answer to that riddle on the wall wasn't even right, and I just got lucky and picked the right lever. And that would make sense. It would be a slow character development of her realizing that she wasn't a complete fucking dimwit who needed a guy's help every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's kind of funny that you say that because immediately after she finishes the lever thing, she gives up all hope at solving the riddle. She's in she's in her deepest despair, and then she hears this music come into her cell and she can't tell where it's coming from, but that's the only thing that keeps her afloat. But it's just funny that a moment that could have been so pivotal for personal development and growth was the antithesis of that.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, next big thing that happens is they're at one of their balls, and Feyre does not drink the wine yet. It's early in the ball. And Tamlin comes over to her, and he kind of motions to the closet. He ravishes her. He goes all possessive man on her. And Rhysand comes in, he's like, "You fucking idiot. Why are you touching her? People are gonna see." Feyre's expecting him to kind of stick up and do something or say something to Rhysand, but he kind of walks out with his tail between his legs, and he's she's like, "Oh my god." Then soon Amarantha comes in, so then Rhysand goes to ravish her, and then it's whatever, and then
which is technically sexual assault. Again, people have mixed feelings about that scene.
Again, I say maybe in the context of the plot contrived, this makes sense. This is the least evil of all the options available.
Yeah.
But I say again,
was it really
in context?
The alternative. The alternative was Amarantha seeing the paint was smudged, knowing that Tamlin just came out of there.
But the only thing that he could do would be to make out with her. There's no other excuse he could have come up with.
No, I'm not here to argue about whether or not this was the best option. I'm saying this was the option that Sarah J. Maas decided was the best option available.
Yeah.
I'm not saying what do you think was this the best option? I'm saying understand Sarah J. Maas is an author. This is a story she wrote, and she decided to create a scenario in which the least evil option available was sexually assault a woman I've been regularly sexually assaulting for her own benefit. It's like...
Yeah.
My face is like that emoji with like the curved bottom line.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of upsetting.
And that's kind of weird. It's like, like the best option available to some of our main characters is I have to regularly assault this woman a little bit so she's not assaulted a lot more by strangers.
Yeah, it's just... Rhysand does kind of try to make amends later that night because he comes up to her.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but what would have been really cool and empowering for Feyre is if she realized she fucked up and she basically said to Rhysand, like...
Ravish me.
And he was like...
He would have been like, she would have said, fix this.
Yeah.
Or like, kiss me.
Yeah, or
this.
kiss me or something, and
but
he just would have done it.
Like, caught... Like, again, it could have been such like a small thing
like,
that
yeah,
would have impacted the whole perception.
A small empowering moment of her, like, for once, like... Because I thought her arc was going to be being less of a fucking idiot.
No.
You know?
Because it's...
It could have been
she
one
could have
line.
used like context clues. Like Rhysand isn't like actively plotting against her. Like after so many times of like, of course it's again broaches into the is this actually assault thing. But like after drugging her like night after night, after drugging her night after night and realizing that the hands only go to the elbows or like the handprints only go that far. Like, don't you think you would realize? Oh, like this is gross, but he's not nearly as gross as I thought.
Yeah.
Like, again.
Yeah, I just think there's so many little things. What did you drop?
My headphones.
People keep dropping things this episode.
Sorry.
Yeah, I just think it could have been a small thing where there's just little instances this whole time under the mountain where I was just waiting for Feyre to have, like, a real character development moment, and she just never fucking does.
He tries to make it up to her later. He comes to her and he's all stressed out. He's like, you're the only person I can talk to and risk talking to because your mind is safe from everyone but me. So he talks to her. He's like, Amarantha is plotting against me because my dad killed Tamlin's dad and brothers. So she's like trying to take revenge on me because I caused Tamlin pain. And he also says that he's doing all this intentionally, which he should have done from the beginning, to rile Tamlin up so that way when the curse breaks, he snaps and kills Amarantha.
Mm-hmm.
So then she's kind of like, oh, you've been helping me a lot. But the problem is that should have been something that happened sooner.
Yeah, you could have just told me all this already.
You could have told me that you just want to make Tamlin mad. You didn't need to say, so that way he'll kill Amarantha. But you could have said, I'm trying to, like, piss off your boy. Like, but then again, that's giving her the benefit of the doubt that she'd actually, like, connect the dots. But she wouldn't have, you know?
No.
It's like...
It's like, everything needs to be explained to Feyre so explicitly, and after a while, it gets to be so infuriating. You're like, you can't connect any dots. Not even 1 to 2.
It's like the BuzzFeed article. It's like BuzzFeed on Solve. I've connected the dots. You haven't connected shit. I've connected them.
Yeah, like
and she's like drawing like arbitrary things in the sky.
All right. So what happens next again?
The third trial.
Yeah. So the third trial.
The third trial. Noah, walk us through.
All right. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember if it's like what I'm remembering is the trial, or if that was something that came after.
What do you think it is?
Was it the three captives with the with the ash stake?
Yep.
Okay, so she
3 innocents.
So Amarantha captures 3 innocent people, 3 Fae. Gives Feyre like a spear or like it's a wooden stake, basically made of ash wood, which kills Fae, and basically says execute them and basically show your resolve. Yep.
And so she goes one by one.
And performs 3 summary executions of innocent people.
And when she gets to the last person...
That's, I think, when she kind of finally, like, cracks the riddle.
No.
Okay.
So what happens is, one by one, they've had, like, burlap sacks on them. And she's looking at Tamlin. She's like, this is it. This is the end. As soon as I kill these people, I will be free.
So just to provide some context and, like, a little bit of, like... justification, as weird as it sounds for Feyre, I think she's kind of viewing this as a sort of greater good scenario.
Yeah, but like, we haven't gotten to the greatest part of it.
I know. I'm trying to say, like, I think the end idea is that they think if they get free from Amarantha, they can maybe do something to stop the whole murder curse thing that's affecting the land. Like,
well, she is the curse. As soon as the curse, she's about Amarantha. Once she completes the trial, will lift the curse.
Yeah, she'll lift the curse, and that'll save so many more. So, like, it's not just I'm killing these 3 innocent people to save my boyfriend. It's like I will save this whole land and all the innocents who could be affected by it as it grows. So there's a little bit of like needs of the many going on here. So
yeah, so she kills the first one, it kills her inside. She kills the second one, it kills her inside again, and she goes for the third one, and she's really about to turn the stake on herself when the burlap sack comes off the top, and it's Tamlin.
Yep.
So she looks at Tamlin, and she's like freaking the fuck out.
Yeah. And Feyre has, for literally once in the whole goddamn book, she's like, you know, why would Amarantha want me to kill Tamlin?
The one thing that she wants more than anything out of this.
Yeah, like, she wants Tamlin, so this doesn't make any sense. And it goes against our bargain as well.
And so she actually uses her brain and uses her senses, like Alice said, and it's like a supercut of all the things she's heard. And throughout this time...
It's a supercut. That's kind of true. It's
there's
really
like
funny.
one part of the curse that like we didn't know about and they couldn't tell us about. So she's like, that's a Raven style. She's realizing like these Fae are super smart. They wouldn't have just left doors open, like knowing that I was in the house. Like they would have known I was coming. So she thinks back to these comments like... Tamlin, for a guy with a heart of stone, you really are like being a pushover on this. And that's when she's like, no.
Maybe.
No.
It wasn't
No.
a metaphor.
No! The first time something is literal in these goddamn books.
I know. She literally... She's a dumbass who, on top of being a dumbass, coincidentally also can't read. And somehow she assumed all of that was a metaphor up until this one moment.
When really everything else, she's like, oh, a metaphor? What's that?
I never learned what that was, but I assumed.
You were just kidding.
You were just kidding.
So she takes a stake, she plunges it into Tamlin's chest, and it hits a hard impasse. So then... Yeah.
Sorry, that was a mosquito.
Mosquito.
Die!
Die, bitch.
Sorry,
So,
that was so loud.
she stabs Tamlin, and yeah,
Yeah.
but nothing happens
Yeah.
because Amarantha is pissed, and Tamlin and she turns to her and she's like, break it. But the thing is, Amarantha said she will release them if she completes the trials. She said she would release them the curse instantaneously if she got the riddle. So Amarantha's like, I didn't say when I was going to let them go. I just said I would. It could be in 50 years. It could be in 100 years. And that's when Feyre's like, no. And that's when the torture starts. So that is when Amarantha starts beating her all over the place like a fucking rag doll. And it's like one of those voodoo dolls and like those old TV shows like where you flip them over and they go side to side, like from Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it gets to that point and Tamlin screams like, no, don't do this to her. And she's like, oh, you really love this girl? Like, I was so stupid. And eventually she gets to the point where she almost snaps her neck. And Feyre
Finally!
Something. She goes, the answer is love. And then her neck breaks.
Okay, okay. All right, so the thing that drives me insane about this scene is we all knew, of course, Feyre was going to get the riddle. Like, because you wouldn't just have a riddle and not have her solve it. And that's fine. But it's like, again, she solves the riddle the fuck out of nowhere. Like, you know what would have been really nice? Is like I said, if back during the second trial, she actually solved a riddle and she solves it. Like, if she actually had thought about the riddle for longer than 2 seconds, what if part of the reason she doesn't solve the riddle is because she's, like, afraid of her own hubris? Like, she thinks
she's
that
like, this
maybe...
is so simple.
Yeah, like, this is too simple.
That would have played right into it, SGM. Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Like, or if she just thought, oh, maybe I'm hanging around these Fae too much. I'm getting, like, overly confident. Like, and if I answer the riddle, then I'm and it's wrong. I fuck everyone. You know, like, I think that it's okay for her to have thought
in
ahead
the
of
final
time.
moments of her life, she would scream out love. But it's like
Right?
as she's being tortured to death and hearing,
She's
like,
thinking about the riddle.
like, what the fuck?
like what you're saying. Like, it's just like the wrong time, like wrong place. Like, come on.
Yeah, like it would have made sense if while she was in the jail cell, she just said to herself, what if the answer is love? Like, nah. But then, like, when she's getting her neck wrung, like you're saying, it would have made sense for her to just be like, fuck it, love. You know, like, what does she have to lose?
It's
you know,
ridiculous.
But you're not thinking about how to answer a goddamn riddle when you had no idea what the answer could possibly be while you're literally being choked to death. Like, it's
ridiculous.
I'm sorry. Okay, like, because the setup, and I don't want to sound like I'm constantly shitting on SJM, because I love the setup for this. I really do. And it makes me annoyed because I think it could have been so cool, you know? And it's just
and
little...
then it was just so not.
And it's just little things where you're like, it just makes a difference when it starts to add up, you know? Like, the setup was so good for this, and it would
have been a good character development.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't.
Like...
So her neck cracks. She, like, is dead, but not entirely dead. She sees, like, this light connecting her to the end of the tunnel. And meanwhile, Tamlin's going ape shit. Like, since she said it, the curse broke. He went beast mode and shredded Amarantha's neck. Like, no hesitation. The Adder tries to help, but doesn't do jack shit, so they run away. Then Feyre's dead, again, still hanging on by that little thread of light. And all the different High Lords come up to Tamlin, who's like kneeling by her now with Amarantha decapitated a few feet away. And they all drop a little like kernel of light, of like little power
like
onto
fairy magic
onto her body. And once all the body, all like the pieces are on her body, she just
she like gets up a la Bella.
She gets
like,
up really fast
Dawn.
and she like touches the no, I'm kidding. Yeah. And she like looks around and like she can micro zoom into like the speck of dust.
Yeah, like again, Bella Breaking
like,
Dawn.
Literally, she's now a fucking high fae, of course.
Yeah. Well, she's also a national hero, despite being a moron.
She's called Feyre Cursebreaker.
Yeah, Feyre.
So she's free. Her and Whomst Tampon have a little.
I just want to reiterate, I hate Tamlin. I think he's so boring and stupid.
They have sex.
Yeah, he sucks.
They do it, and I think Rhysand does remind her that, remember, she does have his deal.
Yeah, he's like, BT dubs, you still owe me. See ya.
I think it's funny that after the curse is broken in this absolutely hellhole that is under the mountain, they all do not instantaneously run away. They kind of like spend another few nights there.
Chilling. I'm like,
they're like just they're just chilling.
I don't think that most people would want to do that.
Yeah. And so they're like having sex in like the bedroom that like she was tortured in and like he had to stay in. I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
like
then
so many people have been SA'd in this place.
Yeah.
And you're just like going at it like it's hot, and it's just not. It's very odd.
And then after she's getting her hanky-panky and she feels a little pull towards like the roof, so she goes up there and she sees Rhysand. He's like, hey, I just wanted to give you a little tug and say I'll see you next month.
Oh, wait. Sorry to interrupt you. But like, before we get to like the last part, because I know you want to talk about like the last scene and everything, but like, can I just say that once she realized Rhysand was on her side, why did she not seriously consider for like a good while, like, holy shit, this man has been raped for like
I know
decades? Never crosses her mind. Like don't you think you would see him in like a whole new light, that he's been enduring like literal sexual abuse for absolutely decades
of sexual servitude. There's even a point where he like shows up to her, I think, like clearly like ruffled because he's just been with Amarantha, and he's like suggesting that even that is something he's doing to aid her. Like
that was the night before the third trial when he was like, you're the only person I can talk to.
Oh yeah, he's saying is like, he's like, I've been trying to wear her out essentially to keep her like busy and distracted to like do anything against you.
Ew.
Yeah.
And she like
and there's a lot
never
of just, it's really uncomfortable.
this.
No.
She still thinks he's an asshole. Like, that is such a... I'm like, you know, even if she still viewed him as kind of an asshole, like, wouldn't you think to yourself, maybe he's got a good fucking reason to come off as an asshole? Like, he's kind of
sexually assaulted for the last 49 years.
Yeah, like, he's in a very miserable situation. Like
I felt it's kind of a weird spot for me, because on the one hand that is very true, and like everyone who has their own trauma response is valid. Like, there's no such thing as a good trauma victim. Like, everyone's response is valid. But I guess it's like, I'm having trouble agreeing with that is the fact that the way he did help without the trials. We got to understand when you're reading the book, he comes across off as very antagonistic.
Yeah.
During these efforts, like he's not like, hey, let's just work something out. I can help you. He's like, he's kind of leveraging the fact that I have power over you in this moment of weakness, and I'm absolutely trying to like exploit it for my own benefit against yours. So
I understand that. I'm not saying she would have to do a complete 180 and think like, oh, he's a
be
good guy now.
Considerate,
But
you bitch.
yeah, but like that wouldn't cross your mind. Like you wouldn't consider like that he's complex. You know, like she just
no, he's
doesn't.
just evil. He's an evil man.
You know, I'm not
He's
saying...
Hades of the Night Court.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like, it's not funny because it's not funny, but like, it's just
Perplexing.
so weird.
She is so narrow-minded until she has these massive epiphanies that completely contradict everything that SJM has shown us is possible for her.
Yeah, I mean, for a character who does so many things that are objectively morally gray in a lot of situations, she never considers or gives other people the same considerations that she expects the reader to have of her.
No.
Like, she only ever sees people, especially in the first book, and for a very long chunk of the second book, like, going into it, is she only ever considers people like this, you know, light and dark, black and white kind of thing.
And then when they switch completely. You'll see the character assassination the next book. No, it's like, you're either good and you stay good, or you're good until you're bad, or you're bad until you're good.
Yeah, like there's no grayness in anyone except Feyre, at least in Feyre's mind.
Yeah, it's kind of it's very self-interested. So the book kind of ends with on their last day before they leave, she gets that tug up to the roof and she sees Rhysand, and Rhysand's like, "Hey, I'll see you next month." And he goes to turn and look at her, and then he kind of like looks at her weird, like, ah. And then he evaporates. So that's where we leave off with Reese Boy. And then her and Tamlin go home.
And she just like, he looks at her weird. He has this weird startled moment of just like, ah.
And then he evaporates.
GTFOs. And she's just like, huh.
Interesting.
I'm not going to think any more about this.
Do.
Goes about her life.
Back to my big dicked man.
Yeah, doesn't question it at all.
So she goes back and they leave to the summer court. And spring court, and he's like, and now it all begins.
So yeah, that was the first book. What do you think, Noah?
It only gets better from here.
Yeah, look, it's probably not like terrible from an objective standpoint, but like
they could have done so many different things.
It could have handled a lot of what it did better.
The big thing.
I know some call it new adult. Because it's of the additional degree of which sex is acknowledged.
It's also the age of the main character. She's like 20.
He's about to sneeze, it looked like.
Yeah, sorry. But it seems like it still has a bit of young adult, I guess, immaturity about it. These characters are all like a lot less emotionally mature than they probably should be.
Mind you, she came from writing Throne of Glass, which is young adult.
Yeah, Throne of Glass is very young adult in its tone.
Almost like to the point where I need to take breaks with it.
Yeah, because it's just so teenagery that as an adult it's tiresome.
It's infantile.
Yeah. But you know, she does try in this series, and personally I actually enjoyed this series for different reasons.
I don't begrudge anyone their enjoyment of it. Like if it brings you joy, more power to you. I'm glad.
Brings me joy ripping it apart.
It is funny to roast it. Like, I actually did enjoy the second book. The first book, I'm not going to lie, I fucking hated this book.
I didn't like it. I liked the second book.
I hated it. I didn't even want to read the second book. You were, like, trying to convince me, please read this. And I was like, dude, if this sucks, because the second book is long.
It's a tome.
Dude,
You'll finish it in, like, 2 days.
So do you think you're gonna read the second book?
I think I am, just for kind of like completionism's sake. I guess I'm in too deep at this point. I'm curious.
You gotta finish this series, then you gotta finish the other Crescent City book.
Yeah, because I've heard there's some like stuff with that.
Good. It's good. This book crawled on the floor so Crescent City could walk at a moderate pace. Like, I hate saying this book walked so that one could run, because I feel like this one kind of scraped by, and Crescent City is only gonna get better. So I say, like, you know, we're fast walking.
Yeah.
So
it's like you next to me, Rory.
Okay, that was funny, but they don't know why. It's because you're like a fucking giraffe.
And I'm also like 1.5 feet taller than her.
Yeah, and I'm an Oompa Loompa, so...
No, you're not. You're just fun-sized.
Dude.
Rory's valid.
She's phallic?
Valid.
No! Veronica, no! Bad! Get your mind out of the gutter with Sarah J. Maas.
Squirt gun.
Anyway,
so
it's probably time we wrap this shit up. Thank you so much, Noah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, for coming on. We hope you enjoyed our special guest.
We've been recording in your basement for the last year for this show. It's fun that now he finally was able to experience it. Lou experienced it one time.
Yeah.
But now Noah got to experience it and participate in it.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll have him back if you guys liked it for a very special episode, part 2, when he finishes the
next Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. All right, everyone. It was a pleasure talking to you all today, and this was our first ever edition of a very special episode featuring Noah.
Hi, thanks again.
Hi and bye. All right, that was us. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.